LAN event live from Northern Illinois University. I have another caster named Brandon.
Yes, I'm Allegro, hit scan DPS player for NIU. So I'm now here doing the color casting in place of the other Brandon, Mr. Racer.
Yeah, we are set with two teams, Salem and George Washington. Both these teams have had a pretty difficult way here. George Washington Salem completing a 3-1 upset over the 3-rated Civic Memorial High School. They are the 6th seed, taking on the 2 seed George Washington, who had a pretty easy time versus Intrinsic High School, or Intrinsic College Prep rather. And George Washington won that game 3-0. Pretty easy time with that team. They're 3-0, and right now the other match playing is Downers Grove South and Naperville North. We'll give you updates as we go, as we should definitely get stuff through there. Naperville North, team to beat, obviously, has always been the team to beat throughout these years.
So it looks like George Washington's kind of getting into this with this ball dive meta kind of thing, but they're mixing it up a little bit. I think the interesting things to note here is the Genji, instead of something like Sombra or like Sojourn, and then you've also got the Kiri instead of the Lucio. So
yeah, you definitely get a lot of different play styles here, especially at LAN. It's kind of like a clash of different play styles from different parts of the state. In senses of just everybody comes from different high schools, everybody comes from different things. This is a 1A matchup, by the way, the smaller schools first. Kalint, the Ramatra here, going to lead it off to that right side. He's got teams in his backside with the Hammond going from behind. Trying to fight that other side, can't get one, almost gets that Tracer. On the other end, Cookie's going to finish off the Goob on Zenyatta, good name. Clint gets one, and Cookies gets one more. DMK Gaming still alive goes down rather for now. Cookies now gets Wolf Doctor, on the other end Rayspring gets Joff fighting for that point in the middle set. Regalia going to finish off with the Kiriko.
yeah,
Calent 44.
that's a big fight win from George Washington there. Oh, we got to pause. Anyway, you want?
Can we switch?
Yeah, I'm down.
I just want to use this headset.
Anyway, we are back.
Yeah. Anyway, so
Gotta.
yeah.
We are back and extremely loud, apparently. And tech pause is over. We are back at it. 6% now. That is George Washington in possession.
Yeah,
Make sure that
so
that is George Washington on that blue team. I'm pretty sure it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, it is.
Rogia now in that tight little corridor up top of the top of the catwalk. I mentioned all the time with these kind of comps, it's all about levels. They want to be coming top down is kind of the ideal position here for this Salem team. Salem, a smaller team, definitely struggled with getting into these finals with the smaller player base and a smaller team overall. Definitely benefited by these new rules that are allowing 2 state champions for the first time in IHSEA history, other than when it happened in fall. Goob gets Cookies, Bluest goes down. And it's an advantage in favor of that George Washington team, or rather of that Salem team, after getting George Washington down to 2 players that had to evacuate site.
Yeah. That first fight there we saw from George Washington was a really clean fight. They're just taking it slow, letting their enemy teams rush, like waste all their abilities while they're taking angles, and then kind of crunch them from all sides. And I think the difference was that fight, they kind of just let the pace kind of outpace them a little bit.
Yeah, definitely played a little bit not to their strength, extremely slow with a hamster, and that's kind of not where you want to be. Regalia in the back line now, kind of isolated from his healers, trying to find his way in. Sergio having to use the rewind, kind of abandoning Hammond for a second, but that's the good part about him. He can go anywhere, any place, and time. Wolf Dodger 67 goes down to Sergio, and that team on George Washington's side is going to try and recuperate as they kind of have a little bit of a disjointed push from that top-down site. I haven't even seen the hamster. I don't know where it is. On the other end, DMK Gaming gets one. Goob gets another. Those both healers are down now from the George Washington side. Alt is up for Cookies, who likely is going to save it despite Salem now having point. One of our more competitive matches that we've seen all night.
Yeah, a couple ults committed from both sides already. Still trying to win the fight. Trying to keep it alive.
Yeah, it's very slow. Feels very quiet. Not a lot of ults going off yet. Yet I say here's the first one. Cookies dies. Or not dies. It's Wolf Doctor had it. I apologize. I was very confused as who had that gun jam. As I looked up in the top left, and it's just like an X, and I was like, ooh.
Unfortunate. Super long fight there, but I think, honestly, since George Washington lost the point, it's kind of tough, but, I mean, if you look, Salem has used all 5 ults, and now George Washington has Rush and Blade. which is what they're going to pop here.
Yeah, on the other end, Cookie's going to try and go for that Genji ult. He should get the Sojourn disjointed. Someone gets the Sojourn, and he goes down in the situation. Just kind of missed, is the best way I can describe it. Looked like he had some sort of sick drift. Big fight at team. Everybody's kind of disjointed, just kind of trying to pick somebody off. It doesn't feel like they're fighting together, either team, as overtime kind of sneaks up on us. 99% to 40. Salem trying to hold them off. They're doing a pretty good job. They have the advantage as 3 go down in rapid succession for the Washington team. And a big advantage for Salem as Hamster goes down. It's now just up to Cookies to try and save it, and Hero Ball won't work with overtime only a little bit away, a little bit of overtime left.
Yeah, that's an unfortunate point loss there from George Washington. I mean, like you said, both of the teams kind of were getting a little scrappy there where they weren't fighting together. That's exactly what George Washington wants, but they still need to be on the same target, and they weren't on the same target, so they kind of just got folded by the rush a little bit, even though the rush was all looking at different things at times. They didn't get enough value out of the rush blade to end up winning that team fight. So
we're going to take a quick look at the brackets in between this game, because Claybird, I know you did attempt to make that into a command. It is not a command. We'll check the brackets as we go throughout here. So Glenwood and Rolling Meadows will take each other on at 2 p.m. We saw it earlier. They took down Charleston to get there, and George Washington and Salem playing now. To check in on the 2A, very, very briefly, it should update as the score comes. Downers Grove South playing Naperville North right now. Plainfield South and the Springfield Capitals will go at it temporarily. Now on the other side, the match is starting here on this, oh my gosh, the control map. I couldn't figure the game mode.
Yeah.
On the other end, a lot of disjointed push. The Hammond is completely separated away from that George Washington team, but he is going to be ending up in the back line. Cookies joining him back there. DMK Gaming goes down. Neither team's Moira making it far in this team fight. Kalinic gets one in the form of Mike Tyson form as Bluist goes down, and it's just kind of, again, another disjointed push from George Washington. They just can't seem to get enough damage out. They can't seem to find a healer, can't seem to find really picks and communicate well enough.
yeah, I actually thought the engage timing was actually really solid there from George Washington, but unfortunately Cookie's unable to get out of the engagement and ends up dying. So seen the interesting swap onto Cassidy from the last point going into this one. They started on Cass this point, but it's going to be interesting.
Speaking of Cass, on board with Sergio, I think it's going to be pretty interesting, similar comps here. I can kind of get in the vibe when I look back at some of that exhibition match footage that they showed me. Salem has been playing kind of the similar, most similar comps that they have. Don't really want to adjust it. So I think if George Washington can find a way to make Salem get uncomfortable, the Wildcats will definitely have a rough time here. I don't even think George Washington has a mascot. It's just, well, George Washington. Cookies on the other side, trying to fight in that back line. Goob goes down. There's a healer disadvantage now on that George Washington side. A lot of fight going on. A real low side on the side of Salem. Regalia gets one DM in the form of DMK. Wolf Doctor 67 goes down. We saw him play a little earlier, I believe. Joe gets one, goes down. And Cookies, that was very confusing.
Yeah, that was a little bit of a rough fight. I'd like to see George Washington start trying to prioritize this Symmetra more as soon as they can. I know like Cassidy is probably a little bit easier, but if you let the Symmetra live, she's going to just dominate the whole fight, especially into Genji. So.
Yeah, but even with there, Cassidy, you definitely can prioritize that Symmetra, I feel like, very easily, and that's kind of the point of Sim. However, that Hammond is definitely going to be doing a lot in the back line in terms of delay, and it's all about time, especially on control. You want to get every second you can because every second matters. He's got mines, so I'm curious to see when he'll use those, and there he uses those. As Salem hits the point, Clint going to get one as he goes into Annihilation. Rayspring goes down, Blues goes down, Cookies goes down. It is not looking good for the George Washington side as Salem has regained point.
Yeah, I mean, again, it's kind of same as last round. They lost the point, but they're coming out on top with ult advantage, so hopefully they can convert this now. I mean, they have 3 ults for 1, so.
Yeah, it's a good advantage for them there, but they've not been able to use their ults really kind of in the sense that they want to. I spoke with the other Brandon earlier about how important it is to use your ults to, well, the perfect time, but there's not always going to be a time that seems perfect. You want to get value out of it no matter what, and if you're worried you're not going to get value out of it, just use it. If you can get value in that ult, behind that wall, it's not going to work to keep them separated. Wolf Doctor goes down, DMK goes down, Cookies while ulting gets caught by Joff. Sergio gets killing in the other side. Joff gets one more, or goes down on one more on site. Sergio going to get him. Sergio, oh my goodness, for George Washington. Big damage for him.
Yeah, that was a lot cleaner of a rush blade there than we saw on the control center. So I'm happy to see George Washington starting to follow up on some of these ults. VAP window is maybe a little bit unnecessary. Now they're kind of lacking in the ult economy, but
They kind of put everything into that, and now they're going to deal with Joff having ult, but they're going to all kind of get ults towards the same amount of time, and it's going to be much more similar in terms of ult balance and when they're getting those ult. Any GW fans in chat want to tell me what your guys' mascot is? Either way, Joff going to teleport on point with the help of that Symmetra. Going to try, like I said, that ult is going to be really just hard to deal with. He waited for the perfect time, had a kill, and he's going to go down because he refused to take just one. DMK Gaming going to get Sergio now, and that George Washington push, or that Salem push, definitely tainted by that just play there from Joff. Cookie's going to get one. The Goob going to go down to Bluist. Now it's just the very large purple man on site, and he can't do much in terms of hero ball. Wolf Doctor and Kellant go down, and it's going to be a mad dash to the point.
Yeah, George Washington doing a fantastic job just waiting out that Cassidy ult so that they can walk into the point for free.
Lucio going to get on and contest with that ult. That's big in terms of time. Like we mentioned, every second counts. Both teams at 90. Whoever wins this team fight, likely to win the entire game. Royal Regalia has the ult. The other tanks, the Annihilation's almost there for that Wildcat side, though. Tac Visor comes out, I think, from one of the sides. Wildcat side is... Where's the George Washington team? How did they...
Oh, they're in
What
Narnia.
just happened? They disappeared for like 5 seconds, let Sight come up, and then got Sight back.
Yeah, that was certainly an interesting fight.
Ooh. Goob gave it, or Joff gave it everything to give it back.
I'm surprised how long George Washington's Hammond, Royal Regalia, is just holding on to mines there on overtime. But, I mean, it ended up working out, so I can't really be a hater.
I don't know where the team went.
Yeah, I'm kind of...
Like
I kind of got lost too, don't worry.
Like I only saw red, and then suddenly I see 4 blue figures emerge from nowhere, and I'm like, wait, they just lost sight. How are they here? So, I don't know. Maybe they let them have sight and just tried to recuperate past somewhere on site. Either way, it is single elimination to the question of Zadow in chat. That is... It's kind of single elimination because if you lose, you go to the 3rd place match tonight. So whoever loses this game will go to the 3rd place match and play the loser of the other game, which I will remember at some point later on.
Salem's rolling out on this rush comp again, and George Washington's still on their dive. But they've got Baptiste, so I'm just to see what that does here.
It's definitely just flying through the air versus teleporting kind of.
Yeah.
And it looks like they're going to get on site faster, and it's just worked really well in terms of Salem's favor. I'm surprised they didn't win that last round, but a great job by GW to pull it out. GW does not have a mascot, I believe, according to somebody in the chat. Wolf Doctor going to go down to a massive hamster running him over, unfortunately. Kind of an insane character to think about when you talk about Hammond, because it's getting hit by a giant hamster crash. It's kind of the best way to describe it. On the other end, not sure if insurance will cover that. Cullen going to get rid of the invincibility section. Lucio up top, trying to just get rid of it. Going to go down to Sergio, unfortunately, as Joff on the Reaper pick goes down. On the other end, Sergio now on board with him. Trying to get through. Bluist going to go and get Wolf Doctor, while Sergio fires rockets at the feet of the Moira. Slowly but surely, attrition battle won for GW.
Yeah, so George Washington already pretty big advantage in the ult economy. We're gonna see Rush and Mines come online first, I think, unless Baptiste can farm his ult really quickly here. So
these teams play a lot slower than everybody else we've had on stream so far, and even in the dive comp, we saw Downers Grove South, which was kind of like watching a high-speed chase with that Hoot Flute Doom flying around there. Currently in a game with Naperville North. We'll give you updates on that as we go. Reaper going to teleport in on that right side and be interesting. I believe he does not have ult, but he's definitely going to do back damage on the other side. Mines come out from Hamster. He's going to kind of lock him in. Not sure about the placement there. Gonna force everybody kind of off on this other end, and without really anybody dying, just too much poke damage, and kind of the lack of a tank on your side is not going to do great. And Regalia, that's not a great space to die. And Salem going to take point for now.
yeah, I think George Washington just gave up a little bit too much space there, gave him a little bit too much room to work with, and didn't respond with enough things back to keep the space. But they did a good job, and ending up playing their angles, which is what they need to do against this comp. But it was just too little, too late, I think.
Yeah,
but they're coming into this fight now. 3 ults coming up on Visor also.
Yeah, super interesting. But GW definitely gonna have the advantage here. They could definitely use Kitsune with Genji ult, and probably save that Baptiste ult for later because they're gonna need it. Because the ult advantage will go the other way if they do use one here, but it feels like they're gonna need to. Hammond just not getting enough damage for this. G-Dub team. On the other end, they're going to just kind of give up point again, trying to find a way on. Everybody's kind of separated. There's 3 in that back line. Cookies is there. Bluist is up top. Alt's going to come out for G-Dub in forms of that Baptiste window. Sergio going to get 1 out of it, but there's just not much they can do.
Yeah.
Joff going to get another. It's just a matter of, I guess, I'd call it a battle of attrition, and it is going the way of the Wildcats.
Yeah, again, they're letting Salem take pacing right now, and it's kind of rough. Again, that's also why I was skeptical of the Baptiste pick. It's hard to get any value out of the window there.
Yeah, they're going to try and give it to the end and get it to the last second as a bunch of alts come out, and Jof and Wolfdoc are going to do amazing to counter the G-Dub push. Gets rid of the Soldier alt entirely, and the Hamster will not be getting that alt down in time. Overtime now, Baptiste, the only survivor, couldn't even contest a moment longer. It's a team kill, and Salem. Yeah, Salem takes round 1. I wasn't sure if it was best of 3 for this game mode, but
map 1, yeah.
I'm going to hit that. I'm going to take a brief moment to take a look at the 2A bracket. Kind of curious after we do this how it's going to go, but heading on to game 2, Salem up 1-0. See this all here. This was a pretty, or not all here, this play here was a pretty important play at the start of that first round.
Yep.
Cookies got 3, and Rayspring got 1 more. It was just pretty basic.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a controller Genji player. I feel like that's pretty unfortunate character to be stuck on as a controller player. We're trying to pull up the bracket here for you guys.
Not sure if it's updating on that end.
Yeah.
Naperville North up 2-0 on the Downs Grove South Mustangs. Not a great time for my guys in blue, but the winner of that game will go on to the finals, and the loser of that game will go on to the second place team. And same thing with here. Glenwood and Rolling Meadows, the winner of that, will go on to play the winner of this for the state title.
Yes.
So, what did you see that game that you think you saw the best from G-Dub that you think they should, or something that should work on?
I really like the pace that their Wrecking Ball is taking in a lot of these engagements. I'd like to see more follow-up from their DPS especially, but also there's just some like questionable like team comp picks that are just like weird. Like the BAP on the last point that we saw there on Gardens was just really strange to me because there's really no one to like sit there and make a core with him where it's like hard to dive. He's just kind of off on his own, and also with window, like they can just walk away and play a cover because there's a lot of cover on that point. So it's super hard to get any value out of the window there. So I'd like to see George Washington speed up their pace a lot more in these fights, especially against this rush comp. You either need to just completely hard outpace them or bait out their utility and then go back in once it's all done. Sort of like the whole idea of our turn, their turn type of thing for those who familiar.
Yeah, Salem definitely going for another upset here. It's just kind of a matter for George Washington if they can kind of get out of what they're comfortable with. Because I'm assuming that Baptiste pick was based on, I'm a little more comfortable with
more of a
that.
comfort thing. Yeah, I agree.
And it's just, there's no pairing for him. Soldier's already in the front lines. They also bet a Genji, and it's just their tank is also a dive. It's not great for a dive meta, especially with nobody to not dive with him.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm sure it was a comfort thing because otherwise I think it would have made a lot more sense to play like, again, Lucio or like even like a Moira maybe would have made more sense, I think. But yeah, I think just a comfort thing. But I think Salem, I like the all rotations we're seeing out of them, but their brawl kind of feels disjointed right now. So I'd also like to see them kind of like play more stacked and dial in their target focus.
Yeah, it'll be good here on Dorado for them. Salem going to be starting on the offense at Dorado now in round 2. Map chosen by George Washington, and well, the Salem side chooses where they want to start. So, oh my gosh, those are both brackets.
Oh my gosh,
awesome!
They're both up.
Well,
yeah, so Dorado is going to be interesting because we've seen it's a pretty dive heavy map, and we've seen obviously only rush out of one team and only dive out of the other. So I guess we'll see if Salem can also hang on the dive or if they're just going to play rush, because rush is still playable if you know your win conditions. So
yeah, it's all about how they're going to try and kind of approach this. Dorado's definitely an interesting map where you could definitely have a lot of opportunities to place it, but you're definitely going to want a way different comp than you are going to want on offense and defense. You see a lot of teams running very similar comps no matter where they are, but I think this is one of those maps where you're going to see probably a lot of different from George Washington of what we've seen. Maybe less of a dive and a little bit more of like a steadier defensive meta with maybe a Sigma, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
But we'll see that on Dorado. Time will only tell.
Yeah, at least for first point, I think it almost favors like a more brawly type thing with a couple poke characters. So I like the idea of Sigma or just, you know, any tank that just lives on point like Sigma or Orisa, something like that, and then pair it with a poke DPS like Sojourn, Soldier, or Ashe.
There's definitely a thing to be said about comfort, too. It's what you see in a lot of teams like Downers Grove South. It's just you don't want to switch off of certain things because you're the best that does certain things, and Regalia are going to stick with a Hammond on defense, which definitely can work. You can wreak havoc in those corners, and it can work with bombs.
Yeah.
On the other end, but it's definitely going to be interesting to see how he plays it. He's going to just relax up top atop the building. Cookies with him a lot more of a very mobile meta for them.
Yeah. This is I don't know, our team at least especially I don't play dive here. Our team historically has been, at least for the last few weeks, been playing more of like a brawly type comp, so I don't even know what they're going to go for here.
Yeah, very interested to see how Salem's going to play this, and pretty good prediction from them. I assume they saw the Hammond immediately, and he's just going to give them space. He's been doing that way too much. He can wreak a lot more havoc than I think he can understand he does. As the other end, Sergio gets Joff, and Cullen is chasing down this Tracer, wants nothing but that Tracer gone. But it's going to give some space on the point without a tank. Going to let George Washington get a little bit of an advantage here. But on the other end, Regalia now trying to get through that archway, has time back now with this team. His team is separated, kind of two little positions now. Cookies goes down. They're all slowly kind of picked off. Two are up top. The hamster ball kind of towards the ground. Killing it. Got that. Cookies picking. It's just kind of been, I guess, running away now in terms of George Washington just kind of trying to keep Salem off point, but trying to keep their guys alive.
Yeah, it's kind of tough there from George Washington, committing super hard to their engagement, like, pretty early.
Yeah, and it's just, they keep coming off point and not really just giving the other team way too much space. They do not, like, have the kind of sense of where they have to be in the other sense. They are going to get 3 picks here as Sergio goes down. They definitely have a massive advantage on this side. But Salem kind of now retreating into their other end as Callant goes down. That's definitely going to delay them for sure. Pretty good defense there from George Washington, but it just kind of came out of just a few pokes, and that's what they've been needing, and that's not but what they've been getting as Cookies hides himself for an ambush.
Yeah, that was an interesting fight there. I wasn't sure that George Washington was going to be able to turn that fight and end up getting them off cart, but clearly they did. We see an interesting pathing here from Salem.
Sneaky gameplay.
Sneaky beaky.
Metal Gear Salem on this upside, going up to the stairs, but they're immediately found out. Now a little bit of a weird team fight. Callant just eats a bomb like no other. Oh my gosh, great job to keep all the health in the Winston. As oh my goodness, it's nothing. It's bowling for Regalia in that other end. Doesn't do too much damage. That Moira now fighting in the other end. Callant now towards point, gets over that wall. Got Sergio. Now it's him versus that Hammond that he just keeps kind of leaving in the dust, not really wanting to take fights with him. Joff going to get one. He has ult. Moira on the other team is ulting, and is going to get gotten by Wolf Doctor. Ult advantage now in terms of in the Salem favor as they win that team fight. That is bad news for George Washington.
Yeah, two ultimates committed on both sides, but Salem comes out on top, so if I'm Salem, I'm happy with that.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that, but it's just kind of an interesting play. Regalia going to try and delay as much as he can. I think that's going to scatter his team more than he would like, but Sergio going to get the chance to come out and ult. He gets one. Regalia also gets one. Bluist goes down. Sergio gets the last one with his blade. His Wolf Doctor also goes down. And George Washington, seemingly that hero ball from Hammond, working really well.
Yeah, George Washington opts to take that fight super fast and use the other 3 of their ults to hope and get one more fight on this last point. They managed to pull it off, and I'd say now they're actually quite solidly in the lead on ult economy. Aside from the fact that they have 0 ults, they were going to lose this point anyways, my point, and now Salem's going to use their 2 ults, and it's going to be like no ults on the board after they cap the point, and then and then George Washington's going to be in the lead.
Definitely see it is high school esports, so a lot of the stuff that you expect to see from normal ranked is not there because there's a lot of variation. You're not seeing a full team of diamonds. You're probably seeing a plat, a champ, and then 3 diamonds. It's a very weird setup. Somebody's going to have some game sense that the other guys don't, and somebody's going to do something that the other guys are not expecting. Cookie's going to get one with his bomb, then go down to DMK Gaming. That's my favorite part about high school esports and the sports, in the sense that there's so much variation that sometimes people just do stuff and win games because they do not play the game in the same way higher ranks might do. Sergio gets Goob now in the back end. Joff gets Sergio. Racespring gets DMK Gaming. We're on board with Callant. He's trying in that back end to get rid of a healer. Racespring gets one. Cookies gets another. It's in the advantage of George Washington, and they're not even going to lose this point. What a defense!
Yeah. George Washington's able to sustain themselves through both of Salem's ults, and Cookie's able to find an early pulse bomb kill there. Able to farm that pulse bomb up super quick. So big pulse bomb there from Cookies. Nice job staying alive and sustaining the fight as long as possible there from George Washington. Full hold on first point.
Definitely feels way more chill than our previous streams, in the sense of it's a very, I don't really know, they're not all brawl metas and brawl teams, but they definitely play it a lot like brawl, where it's just kind of, they just kind of go in there and then just kind of run at each other. It's kind of the best way I can describe it.
Yeah.
There's not too much gameplay in the sense of, I don't really know what's going on. But for those that want to watch the Capitals match, that is starting. We'll see how that goes. We're definitely not going to switch off this match if it's close, but say we see a 2-0 here, a 1-0 there, with clearly one team devouring the lead, and we've got 2-2 somewhere else. We'll take a look there. But other than that, some matches starting. The other 2 matches starting should be Springfield and Plainfield South, as well as on the other side, on the 1A side, Glenwood and Rolling Meadows.
Yeah, so we are going to see Salem is going back to their tried and true rush comp now that they're on defense. I think this is pretty standard. I think there's some modifications to it, but what they're going for is going to be more what most teams do. I think just sort of looking to hold this high ground aggressively.
Yeah, it's definitely what you kind of want, and not going to be as much aggressive up top like Salem was. They're going to just try and kind of keep it together and try and see if they can get through the back lines in the center and keep everybody off point away from that Moira. It's kind of protect the president right now for George Washington. On the other end, trying on the other end of the roof to try and figure something out, but it's just not really going well for that Salem side as they trade up top, but they lose. Salem loses a Genji, and George Washington loses one as well. Up top brings the Baptiste back up. Really good play from Regalia. Racespring gets 2 down low. George Washington's offense immediately hot off the breaks. That is full gear already.
Yeah, that's gonna be a fight win for George Washington.
That might just be a game win if they play this the right way.
I think that is.
They're obviously going to have some time to deal. They switch to Lucio. That's a hard one to keep. Genji, I believe, on point. They're 1.38 meters away. Moira trying to do everything they can. They do have a tank on with no healer to support it. Ram taking as much damage as she can. Sergio going to get all the rest, though, and wow.
Yeah, it's going to be a dominant Dorado performance from George Washington. I mean, I'm not going to say I, hinted at it, but, I did say it was a dive-heavy map, and George Washington is playing dive in places they maybe shouldn't be playing dive, so clearly they are more comfortable on this dive. So we're going to go into map 3 now.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see kind of how this goes, because now it's 1-1. Both these teams know what they're going to do. Where's George Washington going to, or where's Salem going to pick now? Because loser will pick match, I believe.
Do we know what game mode it is?
I think you're allowed to choose.
Oh, you are?
I don't think they used to have it.
There is an order?
There is an order? Last year it was kind of just whatever you wanted to happen, but if it's the same order, it should be push. But we did not have a push earlier in one of our matches, so I don't know.
Well, if it's push, if I'm Salem and it's push, I would probably rather go something like Esperanza. Personally.
Yeah, that's a good.
Or maybe even New Queen Street, but that's a little more questionable. I think Esperanza is really solid for rush, so.
Yeah, it just kind of depends on what each team wants to go with. On the other end, Niles West is not playing. Niles West did not make the state tournament this year. They are normally a team that gets in the mix, but not in the mix this year. But kind of curious what you thought sort of on just how these two teams are playing. Is it just going to kind of come down to whoever can kind of capitalize on the other team's better map?
It definitely could, but I don't think so. I think it's like close enough of a game where it really just depends on who's more locked in for that map. So like map 1, we kind of saw George Washington was kind of all over the place with their engages at times, just not like fully committing at the same time. But then on Dorado, obviously it looked a lot cleaner. So it'll really depend, I think, on who outpaces the other team.
I would go ahead and
We got some yelling outside.
I would go ahead and say somebody just won a round in the South Naperville North game. Depending on how close it was, I don't really know. Obviously, we don't have eyes out there. It is Naperville North moving on to the finals. Downers Grove South will play the loser of Springfield Plainfield South, which that game is 1-0 Springfield right now in the third place matchup. Everybody going home with the trophy tonight because making it this far in a pool of 50 teams is not an easy task. It used to be even harder, but obviously with some division separation, it's a little bit different, but looks like the Plainfield South game does not have a score yet, so no word on who these teams are going to play. But we are going to head to Kings Row. It looks like it's not a push map.
Well, that was actually going to be my first guess if it wasn't push. I was going to say if they get to pick, I would just pick Kings Row and run it down if I was Salem, because this is Rush Central. I mean, this is exactly what they want. So
yeah, it's just kind of a matter of how is now George Washington going to play this? Because if I'm George Washington right now, I'm thinking, okay, they're going to have a more advantage here because it is a push map. It is, well, a rush map rather on a map where you push a payload. But it's just going to kind of come down to what do we want to do and what do we think is the better option in the sense of maybe you get a little less comfortable with what you're going to play because if you don't think dive is going to work, it's not going to work. And it might be better to just go with something you're less comfortable in and leave it to fate.
yeah, that's actually what I was going to mention is now that we're here on Kings Row, I almost want to change my statement. Not that dive is unplayable, but I think Kings Row is rush heavy enough that aside from first point, like you almost have to play rush. I mean, you can cook and make something work, but like it'll be tough. So it looks like they're coming out on dive on defense. So this will be an interesting game. I respect it. It'll be interesting for sure. They are playing a more standard ball dive. They're no longer on Baptiste, so I'm happy about that. They're also on Tracer, so.
Tracer we saw earlier in that Rolling Meadows Downers Grove South exhibition match. It worked really well, and man, it is not an LAN event if you don't have 467 tech pauses. Truly excellent.
It's always the headsets too.
It is always the headsets.
It's always the headsets.
It is. Glad that none of our headsets have not worked. We actually did have that as an issue previously, and we're already back. The shortest tech pause in NIU Esports history, hopefully. As Regalia gonna go for a little bit more of a. This seems like a, I don't know. I feel like when I'm watching GW play, I'm still like I'm watching like Team Silly. Like it's rambunctious.
The way they need to play this is designate. Oh, never mind. There's no way to play that now.
Yeah, his head was not behind the statue as much as maybe he had hoped if he was trying to hide. But either way, they're going to get a lot of space here. And now George Washington's kind of going to go back against the wall as that Tracer gets manhandled in the back line. They just turned the front line into the back line almost instantly. Now there's so much space that Salem just took. And now George Washington is already trying to get them off. This is a really odd strat, and that Genji going down definitely did not help. Cookies, however, going to get DMK Gaming, and suddenly it just switches sides. What? I mean,
that's a crazy turn from George Washington.
I don't get it. Like, that's kind of the best way I can describe it is Regalia going to get the race ring. Not a single GW team member goes down.
Yeah, I mean, the thing with this ball comp into Rush is that the longer the fight goes on, the better it is for this ball team. Because what they want to do is take all of the angles and constrict your team into one area and just be annoying. The longer they can do that, the better it is for them. So
that is true. And Salem is kind of playing to their advantage there. They almost kind of all tapped in and ran after one Tracer, and they got all together. As Cookies is going to pick off Moira, it's going to be big for the healing game. They're going to have less healing on that Salem side. The Wildcats now probably going to be reeling as they go through this closet once again. Now they're kind of locked in said closet, and that's not going to be great. You don't want to stay in one place, as you mentioned. On the other end, DMK Gaming going to come back out. That healing is back. Not going to be enough, though, as Sergio gets 2. Goes down to Callan in the other end. And Regalia in the back line. It's so disjointed from that Salem side.
It's another fight win from George Washington, but they're down 2 players also, and I think Salem's going to want to take this fight fast and try to catch them before their players get back, which is what they're doing.
That ult is definitely going to help them. They can find a good way to use it. Regalia is so good at just taking space and being a really annoying player. Ult going to come out from Wolf Doctor, though, and he's boosted by the Lucio ult. He's going to get Sergio after Sergio got one of his own healers on that Salem side. Now they're just playing mine cleanup.
Yeah, I mean, George Washington's going to take this fight again.
Oh my goodness.
It's just
Ray's
chaos.
Get it. It's just, I don't know how to describe it other than, yeah, it is just genuine chaos. They're playing to their own advantage of, we don't play like an Overwatch team. Like, I don't know how to describe it other than I'm watching basketball right now. And LeBron is playing as Hammond. On the other end, Sergio dealing with an annihilation ult, and Ramatra just kind of goes away from his team. I just don't understand. Cookies gets 2, the ult comes out,
chaos.
Gets Sergio. It's just nothing but insanity. Hayspring gonna get 1. Cookie's gonna get another. I just don't get it. It just works. GW, it just works should be the slogan. I don't even know what's going on.
I mean,
he gets stuck on a tree and goes down.
Wow. I mean, that fight had an ult popped every 10 seconds, and again, it lasted. That was like a 1.5, 2-minute long fight. Like I said, you have to clean it up quickly. Did they use? Dude, Salem unironically used all 5 ults.
And they
Salem
didn't,
went
and
through all 5
GW didn't
ults.
use 1, and they have almost 4 that's going to come up. Rayspring might even get his. It could be all 5. Regalia going to smash down with Kitsune. He's going to have mines with that hit. Sergio going to get 1. A lot of Sergio support, and I kind of see why. He's going to get 2. Has the Ramatra going to get 3 as Cookies and Rayspring clean up the rest. It's a team kill, and oh my goodness, George Washington.
Wow. What a strong hold there. That was just absolutely dominant.
I don't get it.
I mean, I'm not going to lie. Some of the moments were kind of questionable, but whenever they were down 1, George Washington did a great job of setting ball into contest, but just staying out of the fight and just waiting for an opportunity to re-engage. And they did that like 3 times in a row and ended up full holding off of it. So fantastic job from George Washington there. They made a couple mistakes, but they ended up, you know, like turning them all back around and capitalizing on it. So
I mean, that was really good gameplay, and they countered every ult Salem had. They didn't even need their ult to beat Salem with the ult.
Yeah,
that's super interesting. This is an entirely different team than we saw round 1.
Yeah, I agree. This is a different team than we saw in Lijiang Tower. So
I think that switch off of BAP was also really big. I think that team is getting way more healing now with that Moira pick and that Kiriko pick, and I think that's kind of been big, as well as no Soldier. That Soldier pick was good, and it was giving them a lot of damage.
But
again,
it's less follow-up.
This is apparently the Sergio stream. From Sergio's perspective, all we see is Sergio support, which great to see that, as GW kind of in a prime position right now.
Uh-oh, we're cooking. Salem with the Pharah. The Pharah doesn't make sense to me. The Sombra makes sense because it's Ball and Genji, but Pharah makes 0 sense to me. So we're getting creative, and I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, this is match point in a state championship. Like,
yeah, well, they still do have another round. It is tied 1-1. It's best of 5, so you lose this.
Oh, it is best of 5.
It's
so
not
it's
over.
not match point. I lied.
It's not match point, but
okay.
It's not over if you lose. But I definitely cannot be feeling morally good. Not morally good, sorry. Mentally good after that one. Because I don't know, the evil Hammond comp just got me on the other end from George Washington, though. Salem The fair pick is going to be interesting. I don't think it's going to work, but Regalia going to be up top kind of alone, not going to get too much damage done to him. He's just going to kind of poke at damage through the other side. Sergio kind of waiting for that George Washington ambush. And from all the way top down on the monument, here comes Joff to get annihilated as his team goes. Bluist and Sergio get both healers, and I think now is the ambush. That Sombra pick going to be interesting, though. They choose Sergio instead of the Hammond, and that is not the right choice. Regalia and Rayspring get 2, and down goes the final tank. Bluist gets it, and this should... No, they got Goob. Goob is going to get on time. On the other end, Goob now trying to do everything they can. Cookie's going to get one, Sergio gets another, and it's game over.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. I hated on the Pharah, and then I kind of started to see the value of it before that fight happened, but I don't think new Pharah is capable of doing what old Pharah was. I think if it was old Pharah, it would have worked. But with this rework coming in, Pharah can't really be as aggressive or stay in the air quite as long as Pharah used to be able to. So it's kind of hard to rely on her for the carry in the damage and kills department. And that's what she needed to do in that comp. So
some great Sergio gameplay there in the play of the game. I don't know what just happened. And in the sense of, that was really, really good.
yeah.
Take a little look now towards the 1A playoffs, if we could. I don't know if the score is in there. No, it looks like we're not getting live scoring, but Glenwood and Rolling Meadows, they are playing video games right now in the room beside us, so whoever wins that could be GW. And I see why they're the 2 seed, because all year I don't know if I want to be playing through that. On the other end, it's still 1-0 Springfield. Springfield looking to make an upseed as the 6th seed against Plainfield South.
Yeah, I think if I'm George Washington, I'm super happy right now because, I mean, they just had a dominant performance on 2 maps in a row. Like, my mental would be through the roof right now. Like,
yeah. I have a feeling there's a lot of giggling. That's kind of the best way I could describe it, is because that definitely was just genuine insanity in the sense of GW kind of just held the reins and they let Salem have all the space they wanted, and then they knew what space they needed in the sense of they let them have space so they could all get clumped up together, and that's what Salem did. They just played right into the hand of George Washington, and I don't think we're going to see anything different on Coliseum, because I don't think Salem's too good at playing as a team to beat a dive meta like that.
Yeah, I don't. Push is going to be super rough for a rush comp. So this will be interesting. But yeah, I mean, like you were saying, they were letting them have the space, and they can afford to do that because Salem needs to use abilities to take space. And then once they've taken that space, George Washington can just come back in with all of their own abilities and actually get value out of them that isn't just space that they don't need because it's a dive comp. They can just move through the space for free, essentially, because of their mobility. So
yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just call this comp hamster basketball. I think that's a good name for
LeBron James.
LeBron, yeah, LeBall James.
LeBall James.
LeBall James.
LaMelo Ball.
This is a good match. This is definitely the part of the state finals that you absolutely love to see, with the weird storylines coming to fruition. We saw Lions last year here specifically with the crouching Odins, the beautiful coin. They were down 9-0 and then just all started using Odins on Valorant crouching, and they brought 6 games back. Unfortunately couldn't complete the comeback, but it was definitely a interesting thing to happen, and I just think it could come down to experience. I don't know if Salem has that much experience against a dive comp played in the way that they're playing a dive comp, and it's definitely hard to kill him, and he has 800 health.
Yeah. I mean, Sombra is definitely an answer, and also I think Reaper is fine. So this is a better comp for Salem, but we'll see if it's enough.
And we're playing Sombra on defense, and it did not go well. They didn't really pick the right player, rather, and they're just kind of playing disjointed now. They were playing really strong together in that first round, playing around each other, but now it's just kind of a matter of they're playing towards point, but that's not what they need to be doing. However, they did get Regalia down, and that's going to be massive. He's the main disruptor in this comp, and this is going to go a really good way for them. They want to start off strong. They want to have, well, their key into it. They want to be the leading team. Because the last thing you want to do is be playing from behind. That's just kind of a thing, period. You never want to play from behind.
I was going to say, their Sombra, the hack on the Tracer off rip was kind of questionable, but she ended up proving me wrong by hacking the ball afterwards, which is the correct choice. So
Yeah, that is a good choice. She does go down, though. Rayspring, Bluist, and Sergio all going to get a pick in rapid succession. Joff going to be able to get Rayspring. Bluist on the other end, just going to teleport away. I'm not really sure how the Reaper didn't see that. And Regalia is going to beat the tank. And George Washington just wins the fight in kind of the sense of that Reaper and Joff just didn't really see the Kiriko, and the Kiriko just killed him.
yeah, I think with this Sombra now, Salem needs to play more for like trying to bait the ball into their team, because if they can get the hack off on the ball, that just shuts down the entire comp every time.
We're with the hamster basketball, as we see he's going to try and bounce into that back line there and cause disruption. As Wolf Doctor kind of playing Metal Gear Sombra on this side now. Trying to figure out where he's going to go. Going to try and hack the thing. Just straight up teleports up out of nowhere. I don't know what they're doing. I just don't see the value in not trying to get hacks as much as possible. And this team fight is kind of lasting a little too long for them. Cookies, DMK Gaming goes down. They're playing into the strength of GW right now. Cookies does go down, though. They're going to lose some value out of their comp there. Joff going to get Sergio, and they're going to keep this match long and this team fight long, and they're going to capitalize on it. Getting enough damage. Regalia still going to get that. Zenyatta, though, as he leaves, it's going to be a good pick when this team reforms. And it looks like they're already reformed.
Yeah, they're going to take this engagement fast.
Try to do it as fast as they can. They do have the Hammond with thing. He's got so much damage on him. He can just eat as many shots as he wants. And how good his team is healing him, he can kind of just do what he wants at will. He's going to slam down on that Ramatra on the back end, and he's going to get the Ramatra. Ray Spring, and now in that back line, great for support on this team. Sergio going to get Joff, and it's George Washington kind of leading the way now. Ooh. The other end, Sergio gets the Reaper, as we saw there. Tranquility up now for Goob.
Yeah, I'd like to see, I can't even read his name because I'm legally blind. Oh, Wolf Doctor. I'd like to see him play more passive and just sit in the back line to hack this ball like right now. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, that's definitely a good idea for here. The Tranquility, though, going to definitely help them. I'm not really sure on that call. Not a single ult was used there. Now you have to deal with 3 ults. Probably 4 ults without the use of Tranquility. And now the Hamster going to come down here. He's got ult. I'd not be surprised if he comes around the other end and uses it in correlation with Kitsune Gaiden. As, the Hamster gets annihilated by, Annihilation. On the other end, Jump gets 1. Killen gets another, and that push from GW just stopped in its tracks by an Annihilation from Callant.
Yeah, absolutely big trade there. They traded EMP and Annihilation for Rush, which is kind of not great, but they're able to get the cart pushed back up, so...
Yeah, they're still in the lead, or no longer in the lead here for the first time. It's going to come down kind of to this push. They're going to need to get as much space as they want. And having a lot of space here and getting this lead could be big. They keep getting contention in the middle, and as the farther you go away from that middle, the more difficult it's going to be to get any space at all. On the other end, Kellant going to get Bluist in that Salem territory. DMK Gaming going to get Sergio. It's a good push now. They're going to retake the lead with that.
Fast
in
engage.
the George Washington end, and that's going to be harder the more you play towards that George Washington end, because they can play disjointed, and they will have more people coming out of spawn like a factory if you keep killing them. Cookie's going to get Goob.
Yeah, interesting fight so far.
Yeah.
How bad?
Sergio does have ult. Death Blossom comes out of nowhere. It's still going to get Sergio. Going to neutralize that ult, at least for now. But Raceman going to get Joff, and it just kind of seems... there is definitely a time and place for your ult that we mentioned, and I just don't know if, looking at the watch, that was the time. On the other end, now towards the Salem side, they're going to be making a push, try and regain this lead. They've got 2.21 meters to go, and with only the Ramatra on point, supported by teammates up top, it's a good set right now for Salem to try and deal with it, but the Hammer going to be in the backline. Joff trying to just deal with that with the toddler. With the Hamster on the other end, does get the Hamster. Joff with the help of that Sombra. That Sombra pick working out really well. Wolf Doctor playing it extremely well.
Yeah, George Washington unfortunately losing that fight with a big ult advantage. I think Definitely should have taken their own pace a little bit more there, considering they had a lot more resources than Salem. So
Yeah, they didn't use really any, though, so they're still going to have everything that they had at the beginning of that team fight, but the problem is now Salem will have more as Annihilation gets ready to come back for Calent. Sergio, really bad situation for him, but in that process, they're all trying to get Sergio, and Rayspring and Cookies get 2. Regalia gets 1 more. It's an advantage for the GW side now. On the other end, oh my goodness, they just completely swiped this. They were distracted somewhere else, and then they just caught them off guard. GW going to almost be able to get the Annihilation wielding Ramatra, who will die with Annihilation on him. Joff just going to sit there and stand there and somehow win that with the help of his Zenyatta.
okay, Joff is just committing to fighting that.
He's just locked in. I guess he's the tank now
Wait.
in the place of Calent. I don't know how this
Wait,
is
it's
happening.
winnable.
It's definitely winnable, but for both sides, he's going to back off. Both teams are going to back off and recuperate. Joff's going to get another pick in the form of Rayspring.
Yeah, we're gonna see this weird fight here. 5 alts versus 4 alts. So interested to see. We might have another King's Row situation where every alt gets popped. So
If it's going to start, it's going to start right after that ult. Here it is. That Sombra ult did not go great. They got almost nobody off it but Cookies. Cookies going to go down. 4 in a row go down for the GW side. Despite 2 ults being used, the loss of Cookies was pretty big there. That bomb could not get a healer away, and now they're going to have more time to push up front, and Salem is kind of taking control of this push map, despite having a disadvantage with the map.
yeah, 3 alts used on both sides that fight. So not every alt, but quite a lot.
It's going to be interesting to see how they play this here. Regalia going to stay alive despite the Sombra ult. It's going to be pretty big if they can get 2 picks. Bluest and Rayspring did get those 2 picks, but Cookies does go down in the process. They do have an advantage here. Calent trying to get rid of that Moira, just kind of walking into damage. But Regalia, not enough healing right now. Coming out for him as he tries to stay alive, has to go off point temporarily. Ramatra, though, goes from 100 health to almost no health as Regalia finishes off Ramatra, who did use Annihilation in that previous team fight, and now it is the GW advantage as they head to the other side.
Yeah, just super long, kind of drawn out fight there. George Washington's Coalescence is able to sustain the fight long enough for them to find some value with the dive. So
Kiriko's doing a really good job. There's points where the hamster jumps backlines, and then you have an 1,000 health bowling ball going through your team, and it's really not an ideal situation.
Whoa.
Oh my god! Goob melted Cookies, but Cookies did get the ult off. It's a pretty good trade there for both sides. I would rather have a Zenyatta than a Tracer in the ring of that. Sergio going to get Joff, but Joff did get Rayspring in the process. It's trading right now at the trade deadline with 1 minute and 15 remaining to go. Clint gonna get 1. Steamnate's gonna get 1. He's gonna miss almost every punch there as Regalia has to escape, and GW loses their advantage. DMK gets Sergio. It's picks slowly and slowly throughout the entire setup as Regalia goes down, and that is not a good time.
yeah, Salem just going on a wild goose chase there to finish off Bluest and then clean up the fight after that. So big fight win there from Salem. We're
Yeah.
going to see 2 alts here from George Washington.
I'd kind of say that they're just not embracing the silly as much as they were on Kings Row and
I would
Dorado.
agree.
They're just playing a little bit more, less to their strengths, it feels like, and that might just be the map. It might just be how that goes, but they're going to have map choice here if they lose this. However, the game's obviously not over. There's only 10 meters if they can get back this site. Joff low, Calent not great in health as they do finally get healing. Cookie's trying to do with the back line, can't do much. Back on board the Calent 44 as Joff, not going to be able to get that kill. Has Blossom. Ult comes out, I believe, from one of the Kitsunes. Solo ult Sergio. Rest in peace, Sergio. On the other end, Calent trying to fight it. They're going to try and hold point as long as they can. Regalia goes down. Joff gets that. Rayspring going to get Goob, though. It's just kind of mayhem on the point right now. Bluest goes down. Rayspring gets the other Moira. Down with the Annihilation goes Rayspring, and the Annihilation is kind of the thing that keeps them from winning. Random Genji ult. Wolf Doctor goes down. Calent 44 is not doing great in health, but neither is Calent. He got it! Sergio, the game saver!
George
oh my
Washington
goodness.
able to keep themselves alive there by popping every alt and their grandma like They pop 6 ults somehow, and it's not even Overwatch 1 anymore.
That is one of the most insane team fights I've ever seen. And the conclusion was Sergio double kill with 23 health and a dream to finish it off. However, the game's not over. George Washington has to get this robot to get it to the check right after the checkpoint, so they still have a little more time than it seems on the map. Down goes Joff. That's a big pick. He's been doing tons of damage in that back line. Goob kind of forced back upstairs. Cookie's going to get DMK. It's going the way of GW. On the other end now, in the front line, they're going to lose some distance, lose some space to that Salem side. There's 4 on point. The Ramatra's super low, doesn't have a healer. Joff coming back out with DMK from that spawn. They're pushing still. Cookies almost goes down, manages to keep it alive without a rewind. Whew.
Joff needs to live. Salem actually has another fight if they're able to get this Coalescence up and fight on point, so...
Joff's survival's essential here, because that ult will be coming out if he can find it. He's just going to try and get in that back line. He's going to get tons of damage. He's going to get the Death Blossom off, but he's only going to kill 1. Despite the Death Blossom, Goob goes down. They lose a healer on the other side. Sergio, who played Hero Ball earlier, is going to go down too. Cookie's still in that back line trying to deal with it. Down goes Moira. On the other end, down goes the Hamster. Down goes Moira. Down goes Tracer in the Salem Wildcats. Hang on, despite a Sergio triple kill in the other end that he barely survives, and we will have round 5.
Yeah, map 5. What a crazy map. I mean, George Washington showing that they could win that, but they had to use a little bit too many resources on this fight specifically in order to turn the tides. So not able to have enough there going to that last fight to end up winning the map, but definitely a lot closer than the last 2 maps.
That was genuine insanity, and the 1 seed of Glenwood's down 2-0 right now to the Rolling Meadows Mustangs. That is pretty big. Glenwood is obviously the 1 seed. They steamrolled Stillman Valley to get here, but Rolling Meadows also steamrolled Charleston. But one thing to note about all these seeding teams is that Rolling Meadows was 5-1, and Glenwood is 6-0 in the sense of they're so close. I mean, the lowest team on this bracket is 4-2 for both these teams. It just kind of depended on everything else, and obviously you see the 3rd place matchup on the other side. Things are not refreshed. Naperville North did win that game between Denver Grove South and Naperville North. Last we checked, looks like Springfield is up now 2-0 on the 3-seeded Plainfield South. I think Tigers.
That sounds right.
Oh man, there's a lot to unpack for that game.
Yeah, this is going to be an insane map 5. So
I'm really interested to see, because now George Washington knows that they can beat this Salem team. I'm not sure if we heard that on stream. I think Salem just did like a chant. I heard Wildcats or something. I don't know. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, we see a lot of Sergio support. I'm all here for it. Sergio was absolutely insane. That was such a sad ending for that George Washington team. But, game is not even over. They still have another game to play. It's going to be on Oasis, so we're on Koth.
yeah, this is going to be an interesting map pick. I don't even know if this is in NIU's ESC map pool. I don't think we play this map, so this will be interesting to see what these high school teams do here.
Yeah, and high school teams are, I mentioned, really interesting just because everybody's kind of different. In the sense of NIU, you play so long with somebody else. It's like, I feel like there's more of a level of commitment in terms of collegiate esports than there is in high school esports.
I agree. I have a bit of a hunch. I think George Washington might play ball, but I'm not sure. That's just a theory. That's just a theory. Oh, look, they're on ball.
Oh, my goodness. Sergio
That's
on
crazy.
Genji. It's the exact same comp for both teams, actually.
Yeah,
wow.
Same exact set of characters.
A lot of GW supporters in chat. I actually don't think I've seen anybody supporting Salem, which is sad for the Salem team, but a lot of George Washington supporters. The Chicago Public School, driving like an hour and a half away. Salem, I'm pretty sure, also drove a really long distance to get here. 4 hours? Salem drove 4 hours, so they're not going to be happy unless they go home with that first place trophy, and this is the first piece to it, but George Washington hopes to spoil the Wildcats' ideas as it's Metal Gear basketball is kind of the best way I'm going to describe what's going on.
Yep, we're going to see the soft engage come out from ball, but he gets hacked and cleansed instantly.
The bowling ball flies in through, going to waste a bunch of abilities now, and that second push from George Washington, that's what's been essential. That second push. They get rid of so many abilities, and then they push. Sergio, I believe, got somebody down there, and it's an advantage as Goob is off the floor. Cookies goes down to Joff. It's going to be a little bit of a better DPS look now for Salem. They have less in that backline to deal with. Sergio going to get Joff as that hamster runs away desperately, going to be able to get away, and his teammate's going to heal him as somehow with the hamster not even there, it looks like they're in a prime position to win this team fight. Kalint is the only Salem Wildcat on point along with the Zenyatta. Oh. Never mind. The Zenyatta is gone, folks, as DMK Gaming goes with him.
Royal Rogerio is playing Smash right now.
Yeah, that that was incredible. As, the unfortunate bowling ball, Zenyatta had to witness smash into him as Reaper just...
Reaper's in.
Reaper is back.
That's going to be a stagger.
He did allow Salem to get point, though, and that's what you cannot do if you're Salem. George Washington can definitely afford to stagger because you have way more survivability than a character like Reaper on his own.
Yeah, you also have more mobility, so even if you do die, you get back faster than Salem does. You're going to catch out the Sombra here, too.
Yeah, definitely a little bit of a tough situation.
Another
for
stagger.
Sombra.
That's...
He kind of just got locked into a corner, and they beat the ever-living daylights out of her, unfortunately. For that Salem side, there's going to be less utility to use. She does almost have ult. She should get it in the next team fight. Cookies, though, on that back end, almost caught the Sombra. Now it's going to be Cookies and Sombra playing their own game in the back end as the rest of the team fights up front. Rayspring to get one, and the other end, Regalia does have ult, but he is Sombra hacked. He should probably come back and use that soon. Sergio goes down. He was close to ult. Bluest, and almost 2 ults ready now for both sides. And the other 2, Kalint and TMK Gaming with Doctor, all having ults now. Kalint now on that point, trying to find it. He's got Annihilation. He's going to pop it, trying to get that point. He wants this lead. He doesn't want them to have any more. They almost have point, but Cookies is just hanging on for dear life, and the Ramatra can't seem to find Cookies as the rest of the GW team is going to find their way back onto the court. Sergio, Cookies, and Rayspring all get picks, despite Cookies being the only one there for a solid 15 seconds. George Washington somehow wins the fight.
Yeah, George Washington able to pull that fight out, only using 1 ult, using the Coalescence from Moira there in response to a Reaper, Death Blossom, and an EMP. And also, we're going to see a swap here from Salem onto the Lucio. So, Salem coming into this fight with only 2 ults online, and George Washington's going to this with 4 online.
I don't even... That was just crazy survivability from Cookies, and they lost to Tomfoolery. Salem got caught in the Tomfoolery, and they went down to Tomfoolery. Ults are going to start coming out from both teams. Annihilation and the Moira ult, the beam coming out now. But the ult from the hamster gets caught in Goob. They have less supports now. Both supports dead for Salem. That's bad news for them. Annihilation, though, could still be big. Joff going to get Bluest. The Annihilation still alive. No more Annihilation. It's run out. He's going to try and survive by going into, I don't know, Brawl form, I think it's called. Rayspring going to get him, though. And it's just Joff, the only one left. And in Salem, ooh, Lucio not in a good spot. Salem is going to lose that first round off of, I don't even understand what happened. Cookies just kind of ran around point for 15 seconds, and then finally, their team reinforced him, and then they just crushed the Wildcats.
Yeah, I mean, that once again looked dominant for George Washington. I mean, they didn't even need all the ults that they had stocked up. And past that, they just hard held the point, even though they had Ramatra Annihilation on point. George Washington could have afforded to even just get off the point entirely and wait out their Ramatra and then come fight with their 4 ultimates. So, I mean, absolutely dominant performance there.
Potentially to Jinx 9-5. 9-3. They may stream Springfield again, and it's kind of just depending on how they go. If they make the state championship, it's likely they'll stream. They would probably be facing Naperville North if they win. They'll be facing Downers Grove South if they lose. But for now, we're on the 1A championship, and it is Ham. Moira nearly goes down to Joe, who's playing, I guess, more like a wrecking ball as he flies through the air. Cookie's going to get Goob. It's a good pick for that George Washington side. The other healers now not in a great spot as Hammond comes from nowhere against Moira. Joff trying to get rid of Hammond, but Cookie's going to get rid of Moira. On the other end, the Ramats are going to get able to get Sergio, who's not been playing to his heroic status, but has definitely been an amazing player so far this setup. He's been getting tons of damage. Joe's going to get 2. He's been the absolute backbreaker of the George Washington team so far. He's got almost their entire team off point, and Kalint, as he comes back,
yeah,
just wins the team fight because Joe, I mean, Joe put the team on his back, man.
Yeah,
Greg Jennings.
super coordinated dive there from Regalia and the Tracer, but not able to get enough without dying.
I mean, these two teams are going absolutely ham in the sense of it is just absolutely nothing but just they're playing this game to its absolute limits.
Oh, here comes the Death Blossom.
Gonna get a poke. Death Blossom, I'm not sure if it's going to come. He may try and save it here to
Nope,
try and
he's getting
teleport out. Not a great decision. Raceburn going to get the double kill on site. Triple kill as Regalia gets one more. They're going to get sight, and it is in the GW section now. Now they're in the control here. It's 1-0 for them. George Washington back against the wall, or rather Salem back against the wall. What are you thinking if you are a Salem Wildcat right now?
Right now, they're probably tracking alts, and they're realizing we're losing the alt economy. So, I don't know. I'd like to see them just like walk point together, and then try to bait out as many alts as you can without using too much. Oh, they're getting even more aggressive than that.
They're all going to go up top to that little, catwalk above site. It's a really interesting play. There's not many places you can go when you're hurt. Moira going to ult there for that GW team. It's going to force them kind of all off that site. Oh, by the way, Sergio's ulting. Watch out. He goes down. He does a ton of damage though. Racespring and Cookie's going to die because of Sergio just doing 4 million damage in that backline. On the other end, Cookie's now. The Ram can't get Cookies as I don't know where the ball went, but he's back on site now. Now he's playing the game again. Kirko runs into a wall and tries to hide from Hammond, but it seems Hammond has been inevitable for this Wildcats team. Juff with the Ram now. Good combo for them. When they can get those two going, it's been good. But there's Mines. A new element to play as Wolf Doctor goes down. I have a voice crack that was pretty atrocious, but nobody would have noticed if I didn't say anything. On the other end, Joff gets Cookies towards the back line, and it's two team fights, I would say, happening. There's Salem and George Washington are fighting two different team fights at two different times on two ends of the play.
I'm actually, kind of surprised that Salem was able to win that. I think their supports died kind of early, so they were able to get back and turn the fight.
The supports got, I know one of them died, Moira died specifically, but it just kind of went very well.
We're seeing the rush out of Salem here. Pretty early rush.
I don't know how I feel about that ult other than bad, as Cookies is in the backline fighting Kiriko. Ult comes out, Sergio gets one. Argalia gets one. Calent gets the healer though from that other George Washington side. Sergio got two in that team fight. Cookies gives a bomb to DMK, says, "Here, how are you? Take this. Here's my package," and he detonates. And no more healers left as the Ram goes down.
Man,
and it's clutch time.
This
could
is
be
so
it.
back and forth. Yeah, we're going to have one more fight here. Salem has Death Blossom and Annihilation online. And the only ult that George Washington's going to be seeing anytime soon is Coalescence. So Salem needs to take this quickly, get themselves on point, and just hope that they can make something happen.
Yeah, it's kind of just a hope and a prayer now with alt economy not in their, or rather in their favor. They definitely have a play they can do this, but they already lose two instantly. The DPSs are gone. It's up to Ramato to do the damage. Goob gets caught in the back line by the inevitable Hammond basketball incident. On the other end, Hammond gonna get one more maybe in terms of Ram. He can't do anything but hold and pray. And it looks like, ladies and gentlemen, Salem will go down. And George Washington High School will move on to the finals against the winner of Rolling Meadows and Glenwood.
Yeah.
Wow.
That really sucks for Salem to lose their hopes of making the finals when they're winning the alt economy going into that last fight there. They still would have had one more afterwards, but it just sucks thinking that, if I'm on that team, I'd be like, dang, we could have done more, I think.
I'm not sure because GW initially had that push and they picked off both guys with the ult immediately.
Yeah, super fast picks there from George Washington.
I mean, that was crazy. That's the best way I can describe that. That was absolute pandemonium. And
yeah, I was kind of hoping Salem would win that point to take us to map 5
round 5
point 3.
Oh man,
that would have been so cool.
That would have been absolutely awesome, but obviously that was an amazing game. Sergio definitely put the team on his back in a few sections, but with all the Sergio 11 chat, definitely important to see how big that team effort was. Hammond, oh my God, the inevitable bowling ball LeBron James, whatever you want to call him, had an amazing game, and well, we will be back with you momentarily with one of the state championships as the semifinals come to a close. I believe we'll probably start 3:30, just kind of understanding with how we do things around here. We'll be checking at 3:30, checking at 4. We'll be back with the state championship, and we will have the I don't know. We'll update you if something happens, but we will be back momentarily.
All right, welcome back, everybody. I am now joined by the incomparable Chris Terpstra, who is our Overwatch tournament organizer and has been for many years in the IHSEA. Terp, the stars have aligned, the fates have collided, and I finally get to play you for a state title today.
Yes, you do. It's been a long time coming, many years of this tournament going around. Excited for whoever we got to face. It just happened to be our friends down at Springfield. So as you said, it is all lined up that way. Everybody kind of winning where they went. So it will be Naperville North as the 1 seed will take on the 6 seed of Springfield Capitals. Let's talk about a little bit of our journey get here. Looking at yours. Regular season-wise, I believe it was 4-2.
Yeah, we finished 4-2. We got swept by you in week 6, the final week, and we got swept by Downers Grove South.
Yes,
a Doomfist comp we were unprepared for at the moment.
Yep. And then we go into playoffs, and where all the white records get wiped clean. You start fresh, and you pulled the Lane Tech matchup in the 3 seed. Go down 0-2, but man, I was watching. At least we couldn't watch the stream, but at least we were watching on League OS. Talk me through the comeback of the year as far as reverse sweeps are concerned.
Yeah, honestly, he gave me permission to talk about it, and so I'm going to tell you what happened. Our captain's dad passed away very suddenly last week, and he played Overwatch. In fact, we petitioned you to allow him to play on his dad's account, and he was. Yes. And there was just a moment after we went down 2-0 where I took the boys outside of our esports arena, and I just said, listen, there's nothing we're going to not try. We have to give them everything we know how to do, see what sticks, and when it starts to work, roll with the snowball. And then we narrowly won map 3. We kind of stomped map 4, and you could feel in the lab, oh my God, this might happen.
It might have, yep.
And especially against Lane Tech, who it's not just an Overwatch. Every single game in the IHSEA,
they're amazingly dominant, or at least always around in almost everything we have competitions for. So they have a hell of a program.
Yeah, they actually just beat us for the state championship in Pokemon Unite. We ran into them in Valorant. We ran into them in every other game.
We ran into Rocket League last year. Same thing. All of that.
Anybody who's been an annual contender knows who Lane Tech is, and it was not something we took for granted. And we just made it happen. It was a 2-meter difference on Coliseo at the end in round 5, and it was magical. And because of that, we headed into today like, what else do you have to do? The rest is dessert.
Yeah.
Like, that was awesome. And so let's play. And we took care of Plainfield South there.
Yes, you did.
So but let's talk about the rest of this state, because we're excited about this. And it's been a crazy day.
Listen, sometimes seeds make a difference, and then sometimes you can just throw that right out the window.
Yeah.
As far as that kind of stuff goes. As we saw in our last stream from our 1A, we had a 6 seed and a 2 seed. Now, granted, don't get me wrong, the 2 seed did win, but they got pushed hard. Salem
Map 5
did very well, considering where they came from in their program.
Yep.
But, George Washington comes and prevails. And then we look at the other side of the 1A bracket, and it ends up being a big upset, the 1 seed going down, Glenwood losing to Rolling Meadows. And that was a full 3-0.
It was a 3-0. It wasn't a close 3-0. Rolling Meadows has something going for them today, and they're excited for that final against George Washington. And Glenwood, up to that point, had not lost a match all season. Them and you were the undefeated teams in the 2 conferences. And so something happened today. And I think it was more something happened with Rolling Meadows than Glenwood. They were really playing motivated today.
You could hear it. You could see it. I talked to them afterwards. Their adrenaline, they were riding high, obviously, after a win. But that's just the great part about LANs is you can – it's something is different about it. You get the cheering in the background, all the smiles, the high fives and everything else. And you also get, just as much as the lows, when you're hearing that, when you're losing and stuff like that. It all can get it as affected. So, I always say whenever you have a chance to play a LAN, even if it's just in the regular season, get another school involved. We held 3 of them this year at Naperville North against opponents, as far as trying to get people in-house. We love that kind of stuff and highly recommend it just because it helps you really prepare for situations like this because it's an entirely different atmosphere when you're gaming. But the kids love it and we love it. We're very happy to be partnered with NIU, so hats off to them. Definitely, this has been an amazing site. We love coming here, so it's been a lot of fun.
And speaking of partnerships, we got to shout out League OS, who is not only powering our stream today with our overlays and powering our season all season long. You get on, you check your scores, you look at rosters. All that is through League OS, who we've been proud to work with for 2 years in a row now. And in fact, their co-founder and CEO Marty Weatherall is here all the way down from Minneapolis, enjoying the action today. Speaking of that LAN nerf or buff, tomorrow we have a group that is not unaccustomed to LANs.
If there was a game that we've had in the IHSEA that loves and prefers the LAN atmosphere, it is our Smash Kids. And we have the top 64 seeds coming in after a 7-round Swiss season. A lot of familiar names. I was looking at the top, some names that I didn't recognize. So there's some new players there for sure. But we're going at it tomorrow. We'll have a lot of that on stream, I would imagine.
Yep.
But top 64 players for Smash for the state for IHSEA are coming to NIU tomorrow to play here at Altgeld Hall, and just it's such a great time. And I'm hoping that with the Smash that they get to absorb all of that. But it'll be a rocking place tomorrow for sure.
And something just as a note, because we're going to show our 2A championship, Naperville North and Springfield, on stream, and then we're going to jump over to the 1A championship of Rolling Meadows and George Washington. But as I understand, the majority of your team are seniors.
Yes, I have 4 out of 5 seniors. Every year it's been an interesting time to try to replenish the senior ranks. I lose 1 or I lose 2, and last year I lost 2. So it's kind of we've been working through our JVs. Speaking, my JV has already been scrim blocking. Their season's done, but they're still going as we want them to. So the Naperville North train of constantly having full GMs. We'll see where that continues if it does next year. But this particular group of kids, I tell you what, after the loss, the disheartening loss last year to Deerfield, they had a great team. Hats off to them. But 4 years in a row, we are I can't tell you how focused they are. Just zeroed in today, and they're gonna bring everything they got to Springfield. And I know you guys will too.
Yeah, we actually 4 of our 5 starters are seniors today as well. So this is really like for the majority of the lobby you're about to watch. They know it's their last Overwatch match, and there's something special is probably bound to happen here. And we know too, not to take anything for granted. Certainly, we're here in the 6th seed, but we watched that match last year against Deerfield, and we know that Naperville North does not want that feeling again. So we are locked in. Everyone's locked in. There's still 3rd place trophies to fight for, and that's actually probably the most challenging task anybody's going to have today is taking a loss in the semifinal and still being able to bounce back and earn that trophy. Nobody wants to go home empty-handed today, and we got trophies, but we're about to fight over which one gets the bigger trophy today.
I'm okay fighting that. I feel I don't know if I have the bigger guns or not, but whatever the case is, all teams are going to be ready to bring it. But we're going to take a small break, and when we get back, we'll have our casters back on for the 2A final, which will be the number 1 seed Naperville North Huskies versus the number 6 seed Springfield Capitals. Don't go anywhere, guys.
See you guys.
We'll be right back.
Well, everybody, it's that time again. We've returned to the end. It is the IHSEA 2A state finals match. Naperville North High School versus Springfield. And I've got my third caster of the night.
Hi, I'm Austin, Austin125. I've been running the cams all day, but I play DPS for NIU and happy to be here.
Yeah, definitely been a absolutely excellent job. Great observer work.
Thank you.
Credit
Excellent
to him.
casting job. Excellent casting
Thank you.
job.
But yeah, it's definitely been an interesting night so far. We've seen some upsets galore, and that is why Springfield is here. It's the highest they've ever been. Even if they don't win, it'll be the furthest this team has ever been. The Capitals attempting to take down the dynasty of Naperville North. Deerfield, who was able to do it last year, definitely looked like a more solid team than Naperville North this year. The Springfield Capitals will be going with a David versus Goliath situation, but I do see a lot of Buzz Lightyear support. Yes, Buzz Lightyear supports. Buzz Lightyear is also, I believe, playing support. No, Sojourn, I apologize. But USS Robot has been going through. I mean, we looked through their account. They have over 100 matches won this season. Keep in mind, it has been less than...
It's been about 3 weeks.
It's been about 3 weeks.
3 weeks or so.
So that's insane in terms of playtime, but you can definitely tell these guys are devoted because a lot of these guys play together, and I'd like to give a quick shout out to the Zenyatta on Naperville North Clonk Pog. Unfortunately, he couldn't even join us for one because of the scheduling difficulties. Did not stream at all, but here we are. It's the end of the road, ladies and gentlemen, of the winter season for the 2A schedule. Overwatch 2 is coming to a close, to the delight of many of playing in the spring season. But we still have 5 rounds potentially to go on the other end. Vapor now in charge of the DPS spot for Naperville North. Yes, it is Naperville North on the defensive side. And going against this strong Springfield South team, which we saw beat Glenwood, who already got annihilated and is out of the tournament. They'll play in the third place round. Slim Jim goes down. Sea Carrot goes down. Klonk and Vapor taking care of that. Wrigley takes some damage. Going to have to back out of that other end. USS Robot trying to find their way.
Tough first fight. I'm kind of interested to see them stay on this Doomfist. I mean, it definitely has potential, but it'll be a little hard to fight into this Sigma with his rock and all his cooldowns.
As Jem has started playing Overwatch, we go to this other side. Springfield going to try and take a push towards that right side, closer, much closer towards the objective than they were initially. That Doomfist, yes, is going to be, maybe could be big if they could get into that back line, but did not work for the Mustangs, who were annihilated earlier today. But Terp did say they played really well. Bazooka going to get 1. Slim Jim going to get 2. 3. Wrigley gets Vapor, and that's a big push as Naperville North loses that first site. USS Robot trying their best, but not going to be enough with 5 Capitals on that side. And this is the 6 seed against the 1 seed, folks. This has never, ever happened in the sense of no 6 seed has ever beat a 1 seed.
I mean, today might be the day. That was a really strong performance, especially from Slim Jim in that first fight. I mean, wow.
Don't count out the Huskies, though. They're pretty similar to Walter Payton's famous quote about that first hit, and that is the reason why. They play as a team, and they are absolutely dominant. They are the number 1 seed for a reason, and you're about to see why. USS Robot gets 1 after Klonk Pog gets 1 too. Bazooka's able to get rid of that invincibility barrier, but, I mean, this is rough. They play against so many teams. They scrimmage against such good teams. Another kill by Klonk. It's safe to say that there is professional teams out there that would struggle against Naperville North for at least a point.
Absolutely.
Looking specifically at the London Spitfire.
Absolutely.
It is just insane how you get guys these devoted and this devoted to this. I mean, there's like, it is nothing you see ever in this kind of game, or not even this kind of series. And Naperville North owns Overwatch. It's kind of the understanding. As Kiriko combines a ult, as 2 ults come out for that other side. The Kiriko ult going to go for Springfield. Going to get 1. Slim Jim will. He's losing his team though, slowly but surely. Slim Jim able to get 2. Even the picks out. Not the same on the other side. Do some serious damage to Sigma. Slim Jim did get clonked, so there's less healing now on that floor. USS Robot not going to be able to. Karmlov goes down for the, I said the Raptors, the Huskies, and Wrigley goes down for the Capitals side. And this is another team fight win. I believe it will be for the Capitals.
Wow, a great showing there. I almost thought Turtle was going to commit Blade to that fight, but I'm glad he didn't. Able to clean it up without committing any more ultimates than they needed.
Springfield is going to have to be perfect here. It's going to come down to Springfield has already been annihilated this far into the season by Naperville North. They're both undefeated, and Naperville North put their foot down on them, and they saw it with Down South. I mean, you've got to play Doomfist correctly, and especially on this map, it's going to be good and play in the advantage of the Capitals. I mean, I'm not going to lie to you. They said in here that this one might be pretty quick, and Capitals definitely hear that. There's another pick from Vapor goes down. They need to be perfect, and Turtle not in the perfect spot. Stunned is Slim Jim coming down the other end. Robot's going to get a pick on the healer. That's going to be big. 2 massive picks going to probably lead to a little bit of a team fight loss coming here as Slim Jim goes down. And they're all slowly picked away by the Huskies, and the pack is dominating the Capitals in those choke points.
I mean, the biggest thing I'm seeing here from Naperville in that last fight to reclaim their space is a lot of these off angles. I mean, we're seeing Vapor take the right door while the Sigma's fighting down main. I mean, we're seeing a lot of different angles, and that's definitely helping Naperville North in this fight.
As a quick relay, a race car vac, you can find it on League OS. League OS is a absolutely wonderful partner of the IHSEA. It has been very good to us in terms of helping us organize the league. You can check there. The league should be on there under Overwatch. Alt comes out there from the Capitals. He's going to get one. But Buzz Lightyear dominating in that other end. Buzz Lightyear gets 4. Oh my God, Vapor gets crushed, or crushes Wrigley rather. Buzz Lightyear got 4. The Capitals just get rolled in midfield.
Wow. I mean, that was, you know, a strong showing. They wanted to make the fight, and, you know, they wanted to take it in their hands, but maybe just a little too overambitious.
Yeah, sometimes you can see this team, the Springfield team definitely clicks at certain points and can get in that back line, but it's difficult. Naperville North plays next to perfect because they don't need it to be perfect is kind of the best way I can describe it. They can do anything in any situation, and it's going to be hard for the Capitals to fight it. On the other end, the punch comes out. There is a third place match happening, by the way. Clonk Hog gets 1. Vapor gets another. Wrigley going to get a consolation prize in the invincibility field, but Robot going to get Bazooka in the process, and it's 5-2 in terms of picks. As Genji tries to run away, will escape. With a minute left, it is not looking good for the Capitals.
Yeah, I think that was just a poorly timed engage. I mean, as a Doomfist there, you can't just jump into their team, especially with that Zenyatta Discord. I mean, you're going to fall pretty fast like we saw Slim Jim fall.
Yeah, you definitely can jump into their team from time to time, but if you watch what's about to happen, that's what's going to happen. Meteor Strike's going to come down. Almost everybody's going to avoid it, and a great play by the Baptiste to keep everybody alive. Ridley's going to get Clonk Pog. The back lines are getting havoc wreaked upon them. The Lucio gets 2. Excellent gameplay from him off the wall. Frog gameplay as Buzz Lightyear almost gets Slim Jim, but can't do it in time. The Capitals will have point, but it's going to be up to, I guess, fate, whether or not they're going to get the checkpoint.
I mean, that was incredible. Not a single person from Springfield Capitals fell. And Slim Jim taking the ground there, I mean, taking all that space and denying the Hanzo ult.
Yeah, Robot going to switch off here to Ramatra. It's going to be a really interesting pick, especially here. This is a great spot for Ramatra to thrive. And especially against Slim Jim, not going to be awesome. Robot, though, kind of struggling down low in that lower half. He's almost dead, but his teammate has been so good. The healing is so good there. Robot going to get is the only casualty there as a team kill comes out from Naperville North as they focus too hard on the tank. And Springfield not going to be where they want.
Yeah, I mean, that was definitely a very good showing from Springfield. I would absolutely not count them out.
Some unhappy with Slim Jim's play, but I think it was quite adequate as a Doomfist in that situation. I'm not sure if Slim Jim's a one-trick, but Slim Jim has not played anyone but Doomfist.
Definitely could be, but I mean, for being a one-trick, Slim Jim is very, very strong on the Doomfist. I will say that.
It's kind of like the guy on DGS, Hoot.
Yep.
He is a junior. I would not be surprised if you guys see him here next year. I will not be here, unfortunately. I will be attending a university in upstate New York, so hopefully maybe one day I'll come back and do some casting here, but this seems to be the end of the road for me in the winter season, so a quick thank you to the IHSEA for giving me these opportunities. But I've got one more as a player in the Modern Warfare 2 scene, so we'll see how that goes.
Absolutely. Best of luck to you.
Thank you very much. I would go ahead and hope that we would be in this game for Modern Warfare 2. We have a really good team.
Awesome.
But we'll see. As we go back to the finals, obviously, that we're playing, it's really similar to team comp. Slim Jim going to be back on that Zarya. He did play Zarya earlier, or someone played Zarya earlier, not Slim Jim, for this Capitals team. But you can't switch off at this point and have anybody come in or have any roles change.
We're going to get started here pretty soon.
The other end, sorry. On the other end, Buzz Lightyear now They are very supported in chat. A lot of people like them. Obviously, there was somebody in here named Buzz Lightyear Supporter 16, which I thought was really funny. You see that every year. It's very nice to see. Ram going to be central to this Ramadra push. May going to force the wall out. They're pushing up now, fighting in that brutality mode. Definitely going to be countered by the May behind him, and he's going to go down. A good hold for the Capitals. Bazooka and Turtle are going to get two themselves. Wrigley gets one more, and that's a really good hold from the Capitals, countering that May with their own May.
Wow, I mean, I got to highlight that for a second. That Baptiste, C-Carrot, just won them that entire fight. That Immortality field going down won them the entire fight. Props to the supports out there.
Yeah, supports do not get enough credit. I have a hard time noticing them. It is very hard for me as a non-Overwatch player to kind of see what's going on from certain times to time, which is why you're here. Slim Jim taking big damage in that front line. Mortality goes up. Robot going to get it down almost instantaneously. On the other end, Shield coming up. Carts up, moving up behind them. They're all kind of grouped together. Springfield not in a great position. May kind of walling them back in as Naperville North loses some of their back lines. The two teams are separated. It's kind of two places right now. Buzz Lightyear gets one, Robot gets another, but Wrigley is able to get one of the supports. Both supports are dead for the Springfield Capital sign as Wrigley tries and just uses 100%. And ooh, I think that shot got caught on that roof right there, even though it did go through and it did hit Clonk. But unfortunately for them, went through a wall first, so it didn't do big damage like he was hoping to get just out of that because he knew he was going to die. But as we go into, I think, is a brewery. It feels like one, or a boiler room. Whatever it is, it's definitely a room that is very tight and it has a super hard situation. No team that has played here tonight has gotten through this map, by the way, just if you were wondering. It has all been stuck in this corridor. To the other end, oh my gosh, that window comes up at the wrong time for Springfield. Robot gets two almost instantaneously with Vapor as well.
I mean, that's a tough showing. If you're Springfield, I like the play to push through it, but I mean, too little, into the power of Naperville.
Yeah, and for Springfield, it's GG go next. Naperville North High School. This is a dynasty. They have lost last year to Deerfield. That was a pretty amazing team that came. Naperville North was on a down year, but this team that they have this year is incredible.
Yeah, let's see this play of the game. I remember this. Didn't quite get it all on stream, but wow.
Hits that shot, ults, shot again, hits another shot. It's the 4K, and they don't even get another kill here. They probably would have got that kill if the Hanzo didn't murder them instantaneously. That's almost an entire team kill there, and that is a incomplete bracket. If you were wondering what's going on, Glenwood did lose, and George Washington did win. So it's Rolling Meadows and George Washington against each other, and Salem and Glenwood going at it in the third place match, as that will start at the same time that the first place game starts. The third place game for the whatever you want to call it. Ooh, look at that bracket. Isn't that cool?
Ooh, trying to get that set up. Didn't quite work. Well, we'll figure that out.
We'll just we can just go back to us.
We'll go back to us.
Yeah, so these teams
we'll
have
take a
had
look at this.
long road here. Definitely difficult for them.
Mm-hmm.
But it's finally the end of the road, and Naperville North has done nothing but pummel teams all year. They've pummeled Springfield and DGS already. This is the only team they haven't played was, I believe, Plainfield South, and they did not end up having to play them. So,
Yeah. I mean, if I was Springfield, though, I wouldn't be down and out yet. I mean, there was some great team fights, some great communication on what to do and when to do it, when to take those engages and when to back out and give them the space. And, I mean, we did see a very strong showing from Naperville. So, I mean, they definitely could take it all as well. But if I was Springfield, I'd say, you know what? There's map one. Pretty close. You know, we were fighting really hard. But let's just regroup, take it into map two.
Naperville North is known for slow starts, though. That is one thing to mention. They absolutely struggle that first time all around almost always. That's why you saw that both those team fights always get dominated. And I don't know why, because they won't change their meta. They won't change their comp. It's just like after that, everyone's like, okay, wait, lock in. And then they lock in. And then Springfield just absolutely got rolled there kind of towards the end of that portion because Naperville North just did better. But if I'm looking at the Capitals, I'm like, okay, listen, that's Goliath. I'm David.
Yep.
Those things are gonna happen. And it's not gonna be an easy road, and you need to dig in right now. Set your mind right, because you can beat this team, and they know they can now with those team fights that they won.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I personally, not to show any real bias, but I'm rooting for Springfield because here at NIU we love the reverse sweeps. We've reverse sweeped in our season. We reverse sweep on LAN, so I'm a big supporter of reverse sweeps. So let Naperville get ahead, but let's take it right back. I mean, I just love some good Overwatch, so I want to see a story happen here.
There was a reverse sweep, I believe, earlier in playoffs.
Yes.
I think it was Springfield.
It was
that had the
Springfield
reverse
against
Lane Tech.
Lane Tech.
Bitter rivals. Lane
Yes.
Tech is a city school. Springfield, Illinois. Obviously.
Yep.
And it's a collection of schools, and Springfield is a collection of smaller schools that all get together and then have this immense culture. There is nothing like Naperville North and Springfield. Both of those teams have insane culture.
Yes.
But in the other map, nobody's won round one yet. Plainfield South and Downers Grove South, battle of Souths.
Yep.
Even though they're both schools that are extremely north in the state, which is pretty funny, but
Yeah, make sure they're not waiting on us. We are good. Just let them know. But we're waiting on a map pick. I'm not actually sure what the next mode is, but I can tell you that if it is hybrid, I almost guarantee you we will see Kings Row. We've seen Kings Row every single hybrid map today, and I would not think it'd be much different.
I would go ahead and say Kings Row is the #1 Overwatch map of all time. I will stand on that hill. I will die on that hill. It is the most entertaining map to watch. It is the most entertaining map to play, and it is a wild card. I mean, it definitely has a meta, but anybody can win at Kings Row with any strategy. You cannot even have a strategy. I've seen teams come in there with, like, I don't know, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. Hammond, Soldier 76, Reaper, Kiriko, Lucio, and dominate.
And run it down.
It happens. It totally happens. And
yes.
If I am Springfield, maybe I just count on that and wait on that. Maybe I don't run Kings Row here because probably they're going to run Kings Row if they lose this next one. So pick something that we think is good that isn't Kings Row. And then if we're down 2-0, we'll hit the wild card.
Sure. Absolutely. And we're still waiting to see what the map is. Naperville is ready. We're just waiting on a map pick from Springfield. As you lose the game, you pick the next map, and the winning team gets to pick attack or defense first, although no teams have really changed that today. They always ask, but nobody ever changes attack or defense. Makes it easier on us on the stream side.
Yeah, I mean, we've actually not had to switch it yet, which is incredible because last year I remember that we did not switch it, and we were calling the entire wrong team.
Oh,
the
that's
other
not
team,
good.
and it was not good. And unfortunately, we couldn't catch it because neither team had been on stream. So, thank you guys for that.
Yep. Looks like maybe a swap, perhaps.
I would guess, or Enzo's having technical issues, which I think was initially happening. They weren't in the game post game, but they were at the start. So,
sure.
Good thing the sub is having technical issues, not somebody actually in the game, but. I would not be surprised to see Enzo on that Sombra again. Yeah,
absolutely. And I mean, the Sombra pick definitely was very helpful when they played it. So it could definitely come out again. I mean, if they're thinking, maybe they're talking maps, maybe that's why they're trying to get Enzo in to see, what map is it going to go to? Is it something that we want to make a sub for? Is it not? Want to keep the same 5 we got? And I mean, that's pretty standard. So we'll see what we're going to.
Absolutely. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Enzo at all if they picked Kings Row, but.
Someone's saying post the link for the bracket. Unfortunately, links aren't working. When it comes to it, you can go to the. Of course, it's gonna break on us. Well, my apologies. That was my fault for breaking it. But I'll give you a bit of an update now. The finals we are currently watching: Naperville North versus Springfield. On the other side finals, which will start at 3:45, so about 5 minutes from now, or about 2 minutes from when the delay catches up, we will be watching. The game will be starting of Rolling Meadows versus George Washington, and we are going to hopefully tune into them if we have time. If this game finishes and they're still rolling, we're hoping to catch their finals match, and at the same time. We have our third place matches. We have Downers Grove South
who just went up 1-0.
Awesome.
On Plainfield South.
Awesome against Plainfield South. So rep the Downers Grove. And so they are up 1-0, but we're going to check back in on our other side. And I believe they're actually not starting yet. Glenwood versus Salem. That's the 1 seed versus the 6 seed. They will be playing at 1:45, so in about 2 minutes when you catch up, about 5 minutes for our time. Reminder, we do have a 3-minute delay on, so if you are typing in the chat or anything, any questions, we see them when you type them, but it'll take a little bit of time to catch up. Want to make sure they're not waiting on us.
Well, we see them instantly when you type them, but you see us 3 minutes ago.
Exactly.
So right now, it's
Exactly. 3:41.
3:41 for us, but when you're watching it, it's 3:38 on stream. So not exactly a perfect scenario, but you don't have anyone cheating. And thank you to the 78 viewers that are tuning in as we see that number go up throughout the stream. It was 10 that first game, and it has gone nothing but upwards.
We appreciate your
This game goes
support,
on.
friends,
Kind of an
family.
understatement. Kind of an understatement. We appreciate all the
Yes.
support we can get. But if it turns out that we cannot watch the other state final, this will be the only game streamed. And we are hoping it's close enough to where, maybe we can't watch it.
Yeah, I mean, that would definitely be a great showing. Great finals match here from our 2A bracket. And, yeah, we're going to be starting here on Eichenwald.
I
And
haven't seen that tonight.
yeah,
New map.
what's pretty interesting to note is that both of these teams are running basically identical comps, with the side of Springfield opting for a Kiriko instead of a Moira, which personally I think is going to do wonders for them. That Queen ult is going to get ripped, and that Kiriko Suzu is just going to cleanse everything, and they're going to be right back in that fight. So hopefully C Carrot can be pretty diligent on holding on to that Suzu when the time for the Junker Queen ult comes around. And I think this is going to be great. I think it's going to be a great map.
I was going to say Wrigley switched to Tracer, and then Wrigley unswitched from Tracer. So they're making me eat my words I didn't even say. That's actually really impressive. I haven't had any commentator curses tonight, which has been a really, really good statement. I have had nothing but commentator curses over the last month.
Oh,
and
jeez.
I'm tired of it.
Yep.
On the other end, though, USS Robot going to be running the Junker Queen. They're very versatile. They can play, I think, any tank in the game is what I overheard from that group this morning. Well, yeah, it was this morning. Wrigley now leading the charge on that offensive end on that left side. He's doing a lot of damage, and they don't really understand that he's there, I think, totally. Robot going to get 2. Karmalov going to get 1. It's absolutely a freight train. And a team kill in, this started at, what, 3 minutes and 45 seconds?
Yep.
25 seconds in, we have
Yeah.
a team kill.
Yeah, I mean, it was a little tough. I think they kind of found their first pick, and then they said, all right, we're up 5-4. Let's just run it in. That's what you do.
I mean, it's Huskies are rolling, man.
Yep.
They're a train. Huskies are a wagon, as some might say. USS Robot leading the team for, I guess, the Junker Queen duel and literally the same comp, almost, other than C Carrot. Wrigley now in that back line. Ooh, gets hit by Buzz Lightyear up top down. Just doesn't go well. Karmalov gets 2 with 7-0 in the kills department. I eat my words. It's another team kill. 10-0 eliminations.
Now, what I'm seeing here, if I'm Springfield, the mirror comp, always works. We are seeing a little bit of swap out here, but I almost think maybe a Wrigley on the Tracer, like we mentioned, or Turtle on the Tracer to go contest that high ground. I mean, Buzz Lightyear sits pretty uncontested in that back high ground, and we saw, Wrigley kind of take some of those shots, and wasn't too great.
Yeah, I mean, it's really, really interesting. It's kind of just, I don't really know kind of what you're going to do with this. You want to play to your comfort, but Naperville North is the best team in the state, and there's a reason they are. As Kiriko was isolated off, it's a good play from Naperville North. Karmalov gets Bazooka. No Husky yet to die yet, except Karmalov is the first Husky to go, but team fight is over, unfortunately, and it won't look like another Husky will go down. And yes, that is a really good point. 1A's finals matchup is insane. Civic Memorial, who was defeated in the first round of playoffs, did beat both George Washington and Rolling Meadows, who rolled their way to finals. Well, I don't know. Rolled, yes. Rolling Mustangs absolutely annihilated somebody, but rolled. The other team was in a 5-round matchup where there was a Hammond involved. That was maybe the most insane thing of all time. 1A definitely a little bit more of a interesting matchup here for the week. On the other end, Zarya trying to figure it out now. She's going to try and just get this down to the other side. Robot's ult going to basically catch, I would essentially say 3, despite the dying. Slim Jim gets the second elim for them of the game. Slim Jim goes down almost immediately, post it, and Wrigley goes down again. Naperville North, Huskies are a wagon.
I mean, it's pretty tough. We are seeing the swap to the Cassidy, although I don't know if that's the swap I would have made. I like the Sojourn. I would have swapped the May. Maybe they think they're too close on ult charge, but yeah, I would have swapped the May to Tracer or Sombra or something that can dive in there.
Yes, they are going to get on this point immediately, though. They've got a bunch of space, but they've got to be careful not to let them get in their backlines. That's exactly what's happening. The tank in the backlines. Buzz Lightyear contested up top. Wrigley's going to get them down. Robot did get C-Carrot and all of that, though, so it's going to be interesting to see how they're going to do without a healer, because down goes Bazooka. Klonkpog 2. The excellent Lucio play 3 from Klonkpog. 4 from the caster. Oh, my goodness. In the booth, definitely just clipped that. I have no doubt that he paused that and clipped that.
Yes.
Even, oh my goodness.
Wow. That was pretty good. Glad I got that entire thing on stream.
Yeah, I mean,
So that'll be a great clip, if not play of the game. I mean,
the Ellen Lucio stands for DPS, apparently.
yes.
Really, really good play from him. Vapor going to get Bazooka and all of that carnage. On the other end, trying to get the ult down. Karmalov gets one. Vapor gets another. Buzz Lightyear gets the third. And overtime will come to an end with the expected result. And Civic Memorial, who went down on Wednesday, gives good luck for everybody, and Springfield's going to need it for this one.
Yeah. Wow.
I mean, it's hard to come across a team as complete as Naperville North, and you got to devote that a lot to just the community there, and especially, like we mentioned, seniors talking down, and seniors always giving more advice and always playing as a team. And, you know, Terp is a big part of that. Terp is a big part of this program in the IHSEA department, and Terp is a big part of his program. He's a coach today. Normally never a CEO, because he's always coaching, and this team always has made it to the finals. They've been to the finals the past 3 years in a row, and I believe they've won 5 IHSEA state championships. And considering there's been 6 of them, that's insane.
Yeah. I mean, definitely talking with some of the coaches and definitely the teams out here as well. It seems like there's a great community around esports, and I'm very, very happy that the IHSEA is a thing. I mean, I remember, like we heard previously from another caster who jumped in before I took over, that
Brandon the first.
Exactly, Brandon the first. You know, they didn't have esports as a thing back when I was in high school. I'm currently a junior in college, so I just checked back in on my high school, and they're playing Smash Bros. and they're getting a team together. So, you know, a pretty small school, Belvedere North around Rockford, but shout out to them. But really small school.
But alma mater.
Exactly. Hope they go far, but it's great to see esports in the young scene here.
Definitely is. Slim Jim. It's going to be hard I'm not going to lie, it's going to be hard here. This is not where you want that to start to come off, but it definitely is possible. Anything is possible in the world of esports. But we'll see how this one plays out. On the other end, they're going to be switching kind of in a more defensive side. Getting Buzz Lightyear there was a really good decision. Slim Jim trying to focus on that DPS. Really can't focus on them anymore. That healing is just too good. As down goes Bazooka, down goes Slim Jim. Robot got both of them. Clonk and Buzz Lightyear get another, and it is 2-0 Huskies. Oh my goodness.
Wow. And that was tough. That was 30 seconds from start to finish. From walking out the spawn doors to the screen you're seeing now, that was 30 seconds.
I mean, that's like walking outside your house and then 5 Huskies maul you, and that's what just happened.
Yeah. I mean, that I made a strong face there. That knife from Slim Jim onto the Sojourn. I thought that was going to go their way, but unfortunately unable to connect fully with the follow-up shots.
Yeah, and
But, yeah.
in terms of eliminations, it was 20-3, and that's insane. Because that's an extremely low amount of overall kills. That's 23 overall kills.
Yep.
In what is 3 minutes and 45 seconds.
Yes.
Because team kill, game stop.
Yep.
You wait. Full minute to recuperate the push, and then it's a team kill,
Yeah.
and then another full stop, and it just wasn't exactly great.
We're going to take a look at our bracket. I got to go log into some computers. Apparently people are having problems. But, you know, I'll put a special guest on the mic to take my place for a second and talk about some Overwatch.
I wasn't prepared for this. Hello.
Hello. Your name is?
I'm Jamie. I'm also flip-flop starting starting Flexifor for NIU.
Oh, I'm off screen. Nice to meet you, Jamie.
Yeah,
so,
nice to meet you.
have you been watching this game at all? In the sense
I'm
of
not gonna lie, no.
Yeah, I mean, you're busy. I understand that. So, basically, the story right now is Naperville North is rolling, and
yeah,
they're gonna go on
I've
the
been
push.
kind of sitting over, kind of by them, but we've been having a few tech issues over there, but we've been sorting them out. But every single time they do anything, they are very excited. So
Yeah, I mean, in terms of mental, where do you think you're at with Springfield? Because it's definitely a really good team, and you went into this game knowing that, in the sense
Yeah.
of, yeah, we're probably going to lose. And do they seem very excited in the sense of they don't really seem that down because they knew it was going to happen? Or do they seem very down because not a great game.
I don't know if I'd say that they're. I've seen people get more down in the dumps. I think it's not to say that it's necessarily winnable, but I think that it's a closer series than what a lot of people would have anticipated when just looking at the base SR of both of these teams.
Yeah.
Like, I think that Springfield is bringing it weirdly close. Like, I don't think that people really expected it, and I think that they should be proud of themselves for that because they are versing a much better team. Which it always hurts to go up against a team like that, but it happens.
I think everybody's Grandmaster on the Naperville North side, and if not, they were Grandmaster at some point.
Yeah.
You have 4 or 5 top 500 players. I thought you were coming back.
Oh yeah, I'm getting replaced already. Wow.
Thank you very much. It's our 4th caster of the day from the NIU side. Excellent hosts so far. Thank you very much. And welcome back, Austin.
All right, had to go sign the computers. It's tough working here. I don't work here.
I work here today.
Yes, we work here. That's good.
So, yeah, it's push. Now, I don't know what the format is anymore because sometimes it's push and then sometimes not. I think the winning team chooses the game mode is kind of what I understand. Maybe.
Yeah, that might be it. I mean, they did say your choice push. Maybe they're reminding the thing, or they're picking the game mode. Could be. Traditionally, it is a standard set game mode.
But we haven't been seeing that.
No.
Like, I don't know if it is set and then they just, like, don't care, which, honestly, if neither team cares and they do it, whatever.
Sure.
Like,
sure.
when I remember last year Overwatch, when push got announced, there was teams that were just not playing push because they mutually agreed at the beginning, yeah, we hate push and we're not doing it. Do you guys want to play push? And that's like, absolutely not. And everyone's like, yes, we don't have to play push this week. And that's just kind of what it was. And
yeah,
rules are rules, but rules are rules.
Yep, absolutely. And I mean, I'm a little surprised there's not a set game mode order. Usually that is, at least here when we play, it's always a set order. Just different map pool and stuff, but
I actually think it is a set order. I'm just gonna guess. It's not being played.
When we went to LAN a little bit ago, actually last weekend, it was the set order, but it changed every round. So maybe that's the case.
Maybe.
Don't know, but
Can't really see because of my hair, unfortunately. I used to be bald for most of my life. I just shaved my head, but unfortunately now I have hair, and unfortunately now for Springfield, round 3 has started.
All right. Well, as you can see in our overlay, Naperville North is up 2-0 in game wins here. So we will be bringing you this potentially last game in the series. This will be the winner of this is the finals. This is, the final game.
This is it. And to GR Gaming 01, I apologize. You cannot watch GW. Their game has started 15 minutes ago, but I'm likely guessing that's going to be close, a much closer game than this one. And we'll hop on board the second we can after this one.
It looks like, if this map closes out, which could be in about 10 minutes max, if not sooner, we will try to jump over there. I imagine we'll at least get one map, so we'll hopefully be able to bring you some GW action.
Really good point from Race Caravac. Yes, I can weld any %. That was the speed run. Naperville North has probably gotten, I would guess, top 2% in terms of times, but
absolutely,
there's definitely some ranked rolls that just happen. Either way, USS Robot leading the Huskies into the charge now. They've been nothing but a blunder so far. Although I do not know if, I think it's half seniors. I think there's 2 seniors and then 2 juniors and then 1 sophomore on this Naperville North team. This team, Overwatch is in their blood. They're not very good at any other esport, but Overwatch, you'd be amiss to find them not in the finals. Down goes Slim Jim. Wrigley's going to get a consolation pick in all of this. Clonk going to get Turtle. It's not looking good for the Capitals. Robot going to get C Carrot. And the other 2 Capitals ran away because obviously that is not where you want to be.
Almost a pick on this. Lucio, that'd be big if you're Tracer. Ooh, that's tough.
Unfortunately, Clonkpog is the best DPS of all time, and Buzz Lightyear is able to pick Wrigley off. I'm assuming he went, hey, I need some help over here, and call upon the judgment maker. He did.
Big game for Clonk out here. Where's all my Clonk fans?
Where are all my Clonk fans? Clonk, #1 support.
That's
ever.
me now. I'm a Clonk fan.
I'm a Clonk fan, too. I've been a Clonk fan. Clonk cashed with me last year, and then he did lose finals, unfortunately. Vapor and Robot going to get rid of both healers, and it is bad for Springfield as they go up the hill towards first capture.
Wow, I was a little worried there at the start for...
I think Genji just ended his life.
Yep, that is actually tactical. That's so you don't stagger and you don't give them ult charge. So that is actually tactical because he would not have made it out alive. So.
And again, apologies for not being able to show the GW game, but this is a state final, and it'd be cool to give some respect to some of these students here who did make it all the way into the finals. On the other end, Robot now trying to drag it into this other side. Trying to come to down that southern side. Robot is just absolutely dominating. That front line has been nothing but great. Completely, oh my god, Doom just punched everybody. Meteor still going to go down, not getting anybody. Doom doing a lot of work right there. Wrigley going to get a pick. Wrigley going to get another pick, and as well as Turtle going down on that other side. It seems we have a team fight win for the Cats.
Wow. And that was a straight 1-to-1 ult team fight. So, you know, little bit of ult help, but that was all them. I mean, Slim Jim kind of taking charge right out of his, Meteor Strike and making it happen.
And not to commentator curse anything, but I do think it's worth noting. Lane Tech got reverse sweep by Springfield, and they were the 3 seed earlier in this session. So it'll be interesting to see. Vapor, Slim Jim, and Vapor gets Slim Jim. Bazooka goes down. No healers now as the other Kiriko is kind of backing off. And another win in the team fight for the pack.
Yeah, I mean, that certainly is tough if you're a Springfield fan. You know, win a big fight out there, but really can't convert on it. And wow, getting picked off by Buzz Lightyear.
Buzz Lightyear supporters, a lot of Buzz Lightyear supporters in chat. Absolute domination from them so far this game. Buzz Lightyear going to get 2 already right there. Wrigley going to get a consolation prize as his team seems to be staggering out of the point. Just unfortunate there. Slim Jim going to get Vapor, but it's just kind of unfortunate with so many low characters. It seems kind of impossible. Buzz Lightyear coming to clean that line up now on that right side. Slim Jim going to go down. Ult coming out from Buzz Lightyear, going to get one more. Now fighting Bazooka, misses both shots. Sea Carrot does go down in that situation though, and it's only a matter of time for Bazooka, who goes down to the mythical damage orb. I don't remember the name of that ability. Doomfist running away now.
Yeah, we call it Slorb because when it first came out, it used to slow, and now it doesn't. But can't change it. It sounds good to say Slorb.
It's true. It's a really good point. Soder has definitely been a really interesting add to Overwatch 2. I think Overwatch 2 was generally beneficial for the game, and it definitely revived the game.
Yes.
In the sense that there's so many more players. Sea Carrot going to get Buzz Lightyear. That's a big role without Buzz Lightyear, who's been the #1 DPS of this Huskies team. But, oh my gosh, all the Huskies are locked in a room with Slim Jim, and they are not locked in a room with him. He is locked in a room with them, or they're locked in a room with him, rather. Wrigley going to go get one. Vapor going to get one as well. There's a lot of death in that room, and it looks more like Capital's death than Huskies' death. And Slim Jim, good opportunity there. Team couldn't support him, and healers were both in that room, and they just were throwing heals everywhere.
Yeah, that shifted back and forth between who was going to win that fight a couple times in that room. But yeah.
And Naperville North not really pushing. They're just kind of killing here, which is a little bit more just they're trying to focus on getting those team kills, and that's a good situation, but they do have to get the bot to win.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, for the way they're playing.
Yeah, Springfield kind of staggered in there. Not super great. Hopefully Turtle can make it out of here if he wants to live. Oh, Buzz Lightyear catching him out.
Bazooka just from a distance with Buzz Lightyear. That's going to be hard to beat. I mean, that Sojourn is an absolute sniper. And GW, they're not putting in scores, unfortunately. Somebody in the room on League OS has not done it, unfortunately.
Yeah, we'll get that to you as soon as we can.
I was going to go out and look, but I don't even know how I'd be able to do that unless I'm running over to the computer and asking somebody in a game, and I don't want to do that. So on the other end, Reckoning going to come out for Robot. Lots of health with the Lucio ult combination. That is a really good ult combo. Buzz Lightyear and Robot get 2 in the form of the other DPSs on the Capital side. Now on the other end, Robot going to get Slim Jim, and now the Kiriko left to die. Sea Carrot goes down.
That's going to be the game.
In the Naperville North High School, Huskies
hanging on.
are contested at the final point.
Hanging on is Springfield.
The other end, trying now, Doomfist trying to get it down, trying to just keep the game alive. But the Naperville North Huskies
And that's going to push it in.
are your 2024 winter season Esports Overwatch 2, or Illinois High School Esports Association Overwatch 2 champions. USSR Robot, Karmlov, Klonkpog, Buzz Lightyear, and Not Vapor are your state champions.
We'll watch this play the game, and then we will be right back for a super short break because, as requested, we will get you some action from George Washington We know you guys are in the chat, and we are very thankful that you are here with us. We will try to get you in the game that you are looking for. Unfortunately, we're not told. We don't get to pick what games get streamed, at least here in the booth. We just do what we're told. So we will be right back. I imagine they are in game 1, unless they got started late. It is 4 o'clock, so if they stuck to the normal times, the game will be starting right now. So we will try to get you that as soon as possible. But just a quick message to all of you Springfield supporters and your sorry, I'm completely blanking on the names right now for the game we just watched. But thank you to all of you out here for supporting the teams for Naperville North and for Springfield. We appreciate all of you being here, supporting esports and supporting the games that we play out here. We are very happy and very thankful to be able to do this. And congratulations to Naperville North for defeating Springfield in the finals to claim the first place trophy for the 2A division. We currently see a third place match going on to bring you a score update. We will not be seeing this live on stream, but we do have an update. Downers Grove South is up 2 maps to 0 over Plainfield South. So the 4 seed is currently upsetting the 2 seed in the third place match right now. We are not going to be catching up on that, but best of luck to both of those teams and to see who can, punch their way into third place for this 2A division. And we are still waiting to see how the 1A is going. That is our Rolling Meadows versus George Washington. And I'm sure we had some George Washington fans back in here. And wow, what a game that was in the semifinals to take down Salem. A long game, went to map 5. But we're going to try to get in here, so I will be right back, and hopefully we can see George Washington versus Rolling Meadows.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, here we go. We're live. We're on. So I'm with state champion now. How about you introduce yourself to the crowd at home? There's a lot of Naperville North support.
What's up? I'm Jack Kurth. I'm also known as USS Robot. I was the tank player for North. Been on the team for a little while now. I joined my sophomore year. I started on JV, made my way up. Varsity, played hit scam my first year, and now I'm playing tank.
Yeah. So what kind of goes into the preparation? Like, how much do you think, in like a certain week?
In a certain week, I'd say as a team, we usually scrim 1-2 times a week. So that's like 1 or 3 hours on average of practice. And then individually, we're all very competitive. We all like to practice on our own time. We play ranked. So I'd say like each of us spends at least 5 hours or more in ranked each week grinding.
Yeah. All right. And then what's been your favorite part about high school esports as a senior?
It's been great so far. I love the community aspect to it. I love playing with my team. I love being around them. It's great. The environment is amazing.
All right. Yeah. So then we'll be right back momentarily for another Naperville North senior. All right, welcome back. 5 seconds later, we've got the illustrious Clonk Pog. You saw him last year in the state tournament streaming. He did not, fortunately, come out on top of that state tournament, but this year you're a state champion. So, I gotta ask you, Clonk, what was the biggest thing about going into this, into this game specifically? What mental were you guys in? Because you obviously have been. Did you guys lose a round this year?
We have not lost a map, but I believe we.
That's
lost,
that's what I meant.
kind of
Yeah. Yeah. It goes to a testament for how good this program is. And so, what do you think goes into this program? Because no matter who is playing, it seems like every year Naperville North has Goliath somewhere.
100%. I mean, our varsity team is always just, top of the line. And what we've really tried to do is make sure that our JV team has a lot of varsity people working on it, making sure that they're able to help these JV players really hone their game, hone their edge, and make sure that they're able to come to varsity next year with, a fresh mindset, ready to go and continue the path that we've previously set.
Yeah. And then what's your favorite moment what's been your favorite part of college or high school esports?
My favorite part personally, I think, was about 5 minutes ago when we took home the dub.
Come on. That's that's a good one.
Yeah.
So thank you very much, Clonk.
Yeah, of course.
Sad to see you graduate, sad to see us graduate, but
I'll miss you, bud.
all good things coming to an end. We'll be
course.
right back again. All right, I'm here with also a state champion, if you can't tell by that jersey, Naperville North, Owen. So, Owen, give me a little bit of a rundown. What was going through your head just the entire game?
Honestly, I was just thinking about how much it took to get there. So, just how much the team worked and how much I don't know, the amount of practice that we put into it is just insane, and just it all led up to that moment.
We definitely can tell, and I'm gonna ask this question to everybody. What's your favorite part of high school esports?
I gotta say, the LANs, being in person, there's just no other feeling like it. Being able to actually have people, you can look over and actually see your teammate.
Yeah,
it's the best feeling. Yeah, no, it's something that people should do more.
Yeah, definitely. And then one more question, because you were pretty short. What goes into this? What do you go into? How do you teach the next generation of Naperville North Husky dominance?
See, I think what makes North different than all the rest is that we do a year round. So the varsity players constantly go into JV scrims, as Lucas said, and constantly we make sure that the JV are taken care of, and make sure that we're constantly going over games with them, making sure that they're actually going good. And we're planning on doing that a lot this next coming year, so we can maybe keep it up.
Thank you very much. Hear that, coaches. Go year round if you're looking for Naperville North success. But we'll be back with one more senior. Here with our last Naperville North senior, Carm. So, how do you think the season went? What do you think went into not losing a single round overall?
We definitely practice a lot, and we do really hard practices too. It's not all easy, so I think when we play a hard practice, we learn more, and we're able to improve from it and put that into our games.
Yeah, and I heard you guys scrim a lot of college teams. Is that right?
Yeah, we scrim ISU's academy team, and we've scrimmed Kent State before too.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And what's your favorite part, or what has been your favorite part of high school esports?
I like playing with the team. They're all my friends, so it's nice to just hang out.
Yeah, thank you very much. Congrats on
Thank
winning.
you.
Obviously, that is our last Naperville North senior, and I believe we'll be back momentarily. Oh, yeah, Terp. Wait, hold on. Wait, we're back.
Yay!
Shout out to Huskies. Woo!
Absolute dominance from them this year, and we will be back momentarily with the 1A state championship. Welcome back. We are with the second place finisher, Sea Carrot. So this is the highest final finish ever for the Springfield Capitals as an organization in the IHSEA. So just tell me about that. And that's obviously been central. You're obviously been central to that because of that right there, the captain, C Patch, and just tell me about it.
We had a pretty rough start. A lot of new faces, mainly seniors. So we were really worried about not making as much of an impact because of the looming fear of losing the whole roster next year. But I mean, we really turned it around, came back. I mean, I love all of my guys. We really showed out this year. It was really nice to come as the underdog as usual and smack around the top seed for a little bit.
Yeah, and I mean those team fights, you guys would erupt.
Yeah,
you'd hear during it, and that was a really nice part about that. And what was your favorite part about high school esports through all of it?
The energy. Southside brings the energy.
Yeah. And I guess my last question would be, what advice do you have to incoming people and incoming freshmen that are going to be in esports next year that are coming from middle schools all over the state and are coming into the biggest high school esports league in the country?
Don't give up. Always come back. I didn't even make the team my freshman year. I was stuck as a club member for the first year, and then I came my sophomore year, worked my way up from JV to varsity, and I was captain for the last 2 years. So it's possible.
That's the Michael Jordan of Overwatch. So thank you very much, and congrats on that second place finish.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
You too.
All right. We're here with RB Ryan Beulah, DGS. DGS Esports captain. Yes, the caster's wearing the jersey. That's not a jersey, but Ryan, what do you think went into the highest overall finish in Downers Grove South Esports history ever?
Yes, sir. What do I think about it?
Like, what went into it? What did you guys do this year?
I think it was mostly just practicing. We practiced a lot. Went over VOD reviews with some former alumni as well. It's kind of just
Steven
like
Crowder, Alex Sortex, I remember his last name.
They were a lot of help. Kind of just being more coordinated than last year. I feel like that got us to the third place finish we got this year.
Yeah,
so.
And what was your favorite part about high school esports?
Probably just playing like each kind of sport, like playing Valorant and Overwatch every year. It's just fun getting better with everybody else and just playing with friends that I know. And it's kind of like a fun environment to be in. So yeah.
And thank you very much for everything you've done for the DGS Esports program, and thank you very much. We'll see you next LAN, probably.
All right.
Have a good one,
Wait,
and we'll be back in like 5 seconds for this game. And in about 45 seconds, we have returned.
Yep.
As we still paused, but this is George Washington and Rolling Meadows. Is this game? It's 1-0 2-0 George Washington, correct?
No,
1-0?
sorry. That the 2-0 is within today. This is game 2. George Washington is up 1-0 over Rolling Meadows, and this is game 2 on Kings Row right now.
And we're switched here. Top,
That's
but
true.
yeah, that is the first time tonight, which is actually incredible. That is the first time
Just double
we've had
check
to
that.
witness
Yes, George Washington
somebody
on
switching,
left.
Yeah, I already know that because the hamster is on the
Yes,
on the left.
the hamster from George Washington. Saw that a lot earlier, and
Royal,
we're going to see it right now.
Royal Regalia, who hopefully we can get an interview with LeBron James Hamster after this. Absolutely excellent, despite no matter how they finish, really. I mean, that last game and 1A is far more scrappy. We'll be frank about that. Watching 1A games are crazy more scrappy, and
They're fierce.
they're fierce, man. It's like that. It's like watching D3 football. It's just how it goes, and kind of like Maction here at NIU. Something that you guys know a whole lot about.
Yes.
On the other end, there's some booze happening. I don't really know what's going on. Regalia just trying to take it, and here comes the GW ambush. Everybody going from 0 to 100. Suddenly there's a hamster in your back line, and suddenly he's gone. It's just been a matter of just what is going on and how do we counter it. Gaz was a player against the Mustangs earlier, did pretty well, but you see the difference between 1A and 2A. The Mustangs placed third, and they absolutely rolled Rolling Meadows, so just kind of the difference between those two things. Grapplified going to get one, Cookie's going to get another. On the other end now, GW pushes going pretty slowly for George, or rather for GW, I believe who is pushing, yes. Other end, Sergio going to go down. A lot of Sergio support throughout this entire stream. I will not lie, as Panda and Gaz get the job done. Keep the, I guess, the Washingtons down a little.
They're still sticking to this Widow pick. Interested to see what value they're hoping that can bring to the table here. Maybe to counter the Pharah.
It's been, or the Moira, apparently. Sergio gets the Pharah, though, so Widow's going to probably move up here a little bit, trying to get more onto that site where the action is happening. Blue's going to move up forward and help that hamster out, get some heals off before they try and escape themselves to live. Frostlayer going to go down. Defense collapsing now for Rolling Meadows. They're forced back into the archway. Hey, Alt's coming out now. He's got, Regalia's got it. I'm sure he's not going to use it as capture comes through. Zarya going to try and force her way forward. Coming through, she's left her backline exposed. Here comes the hamster. And no Moira's going to live, but she's going to be forced back into the front lines, which is not where you want a Moira, specifically with how George Washington's lineup is set up. Rayspring going to get Gaz and all that. Rolling Meadows defense slowly crawling and collapsing as it's just kind of things happening. Frostlayer gets two randomly in that back line. Cookie's going to get Katiro. It's pretty even now as the ult comes out from Moira. Regalia real low, Cookie's real low, almost rips the head off of Panda, but it's going to be a situation of GW is held off just a little longer. As it looks like Rolling Meadows got a really good first game that we missed. They're up 3-0. Here comes the ult on point. Mines, Grappified keeps backing into them. Forced even farther off point. Cookies, headshot on Katiro. On the other end, now Cookie's moving out again. The wall hacks are up for him and his team. Gaz gets rid of the invincibility food. Cookies, though, and oh my...
Wow. Deflect kill onto the Zarya
Wow.
from the Grav.
I mean, that's skilled gameplay right there, and that's why you have to be careful when you're shooting at a Genji, and he gets his teammate killed, unfortunately for him, and oh god, Katiro, not where you want to be, locked in the room with Genji and Bowling Ball.
Absolutely. I mean, George Washington, just like we saw in their game previously versus Salem, they just let these fights last so long, so if I'm George Washington, I want to see him. You know, they're taking their time to get set up, but once they collapse, I want to see them full collapse. I want to see a full commit from them.
And Gaz going to go with the rewind. It's going to kind of force him into the hamster, though, and they're going to definitely have the escape because he is straight up just Tracer. And on the other end, Panda moving down that other side. Rolling Meadows has absolutely rolled everybody they've played so far. Haven't lost a round outside of getting 0-3 to DGS, which I assume could not have been a great mental to start the day, but they've clearly recovered it. On the other end, Grapplified, a little bit too far forward, going to get forced back into his team at the other end. Regalia has so much health. Hammond is such an interesting character to deal with because they can kind of do what they want for a period of time. They have about 5 seconds into your backline where they can live. Frostlayer going to get Rayspring in the back line. You're going to lose a healer there. Down goes the little hamster ball. As unfortunately, he's now gone, and that's going to sabotage GW's push. Without a healer, doesn't seem like much is getting done. Other end, Gaz, well, they don't encounter there. Tracer 1v1. Cookies comes out on top for GW.
Little tough here, but we're going to see a fast engage here from the Wrecking Ball.
No slam down there. Just move with the mines. Going to be kind of forcing everybody off point. Going to be distracting as, oh my goodness, that is heaps of damage as they stay alive with, only 300 health after all of that. Another end now, Cookies trying to push forward. Sergio gets Panda. That's going to be really big. Rolling Meadows' offense is going to be, or defense is going to be a little bit worse without that big healing from Moira. All they've got is Kiriko to rely on. That's more of one target at a time. Grapplified gets Sergio though, and that's going to be another big hit as Cookies gets Gaz through all the chaos. As Castillo teleports to help the Zarya, as they're not on point, but they are collecting themselves for another push.
Yeah, I mean, Rolling Meadows is doing a great job here shutting down those collective dives from George Washington.
I mean, that's a really, really good start for them, and they need to really get it done. As the hamster player's name is Eric. Eric James, if you want to call him Eric James. Ray Spring gets a kill on Frost Slayer. That's going to be pretty big for that DPS overall. Katiro still has Kitsunes on both sides. I wouldn't be surprised if it comes out here for Rolling Meadows, especially with only minimal times left. The ult did come out from Panda. That is not the best timed ult. All it got was an invincibility shield. Ult is still there for Sergio too. Lots of Sergio supported throughout this game. Gaz, not going to get much damage there. Going to have to be forced back without the use of an ult, and that's what's happening with GW is they get so much momentum somehow without using a single Q button.
Wow, and I mean, yeah, just like you said, not a lot of ults being committed, but they definitely could have. So they're holding on to it. It's going to be very strong going into this, you know, final corner, final point here on King's Row. The ults are about equal with the pulse bomb being missing from Cookies, but we'll see what happens in this next engagement.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised to see really quickly a Kitsune Rush combined with something else here. But as always, has been eternal. The mines are going to come out. Sergio tasting big damage, going to go down. Regalia still got 2 in the backlines though. His Gaz is going to be overextended without a healer, or going to save him, or rather, a healer is going to save him, as Regalia is still wreaking havoc on those backlines. He doesn't necessarily have a healer in his immediate vicinity, but oh my god, he got it. This would be the entire team dead if he could get it, but Gaz will live, and I know Regalia wants that one. That is a quad kill and essentially a push ender solo by Regalia, who has been absolutely, wow, absolutely insane, as that Death Blossom got a lot less damage than it probably seemed it was going to. Oh, the mascot is a Patriot, ladies and gentlemen. The mascot is a Patriot. That is big news.
All
That is
right.
the George Washington Patriots.
I like that.
Ooh, that is, I kind of figured it'd be something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds
Fitting,
right.
yeah.
It does sound right.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, well, crazily enough, in that last engagement, no ults were dropped. I'm a little surprised. I mean, you know, let's just use them and get them back.
I mean, I think it's not that dumb, or rather not that unintelligent to do it, because it's just, you've got so many ults right here, but you don't want to lose any of them here. As Kitsune Rush comes out, I believe, from both sides now. Ult from Sergio. It's getting hectic down on the floor. On the other end, Grapplified's going to get Ray Spring, but down goes Katuria and Panda to Sergio and Cookies. Sergio gets one more with a headshot on Grapplified. Gaz goes down from Sergio. A triple kill for the Genji, as Bob is the only thing preventing Rolling Meadows from getting this game tied. On the other end now, Katirio helping hold them off. Bob is still contesting on the other end.
We're going to see George Washington pushing into overtime here. They're going to have to make something happen.
Window's still up. They kept another ult again. They've been holding onto it so well, and you might think that it's just not great, but they've been able to play without it. Proxy mine goes down, but there's a lot of mines from Regalia, which is going to be big into this play. Cookies nearly goes down. They're forced to take a step back. It's overtime, and it's going to be big here with 1:30 for the other team if they can get it done, but they need to focus on actually getting it done. On the other end, Sergio's going to get a DPS. That's a good trade from him. I thought he was going to go down there, but he was healed. But there's a Death Blossom that comes out as Ray Spring saves that team with a invincibility field and killing the Reaper. Sergio gets Panda in the back line. Well, the Patriots are moving forward slowly, crawling towards it. Sergio, 2 kills on the other end. He's already killed Frost Slayer in this engagement, but he's out of his spawn again. Kitsune Rush from the George Washington side again. Sergio gets one more. Bluis gets another. Cookies gets another. They're crunching towards it. It's nothing but pandemonium down low. And the George Washington Patriots in overtime hang on.
Wow. I mean, I'm glad we got to tune in for this game, because that was something special. I mean, you know, if I'm Rolling Meadows right here, you got to take that fight a little bit faster. I mean, we've seen time and time again that with this ball comp, and especially, you know, letting Sergio run free and Cookies on the Tracer, I mean, they've found a niche that works for them, taking these engagements and making them last a long time. And if I'm Rolling Meadows, I mean, you got to isolate somebody there. You got to make the fight happen the way you want it to. Take it into your own hands and try to make something come out of it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a really interesting situation in the sense of you have so much, like, you don't realize how much space you have when that ball is rolling through your team for no reason, randomly out of nowhere when his team is not with him.
Yep.
You're allowed to take space when he's there, and they're not doing that, which is kind of just been Rolling Meadows' situation. And I'm not a very big Overwatch player, but I do kind of understand the importance of space and the understanding of if that is a type of character, that's just going to be there. But, you know, when he's there, it's not always that important.
Yeah, he's definitely one of those characters where, okay, you put a little pressure on him, get him out of the fight, and then, you know, he'll come back to you. He's going to regen. He's going to get a health pack. But you only want to put enough pressure on him to get him out of the fight, and then you look to somebody else. And I think that's what Rolling Meadows really needs to take out of this game.
Absolutely. And by the way, quick commentator check. This is Austin from NIU, who's been an excellent host, and I'm Carson Cass, Downers Grove South supporter. Not sure if you could tell. And I'm a senior, too, as well. Moving on very shortly after this next season. On the other end, coming through the gates now. Frostlayer kind of in that back line, trying to find it as Tracer shots rain down randomly from Cookies, and nobody seemed to look up top. Regalia going to get in that back line like we just mentioned. He's going to go poke in there, smash your team, and then leave. But you have to understand you can still take space, but not in this particular situation because the rest of his team is right past that statue. The other end, he's going to force Gaz back into his team, into the Hamsters team, and LeBron Hamster is going to get another elimination there for him. On the other end, Panda goes down. Petro comes up, gets another. Sergio gets one in the Pandemonium. Frostlayer, they got pushed onto point, forced into contesting. I would kind of describe that with how Royal Garcia has knocked him in. And
wow, they got off point.
Wow, is that C9?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the ball rolled through on low health,
That's
nobody else to touch.
Now?
So the way that worked is because one team capped with time left and the other team capped in overtime. So since we just saw George Washington make that push and cap in overtime, unfortunately, they have to defend into the remaining time of Rolling Meadows. And if George Washington was to hold that, the game would actually come to a draw.
So how new is that? Because I know that is not, well, not normal in the sense of that is not how it has always been, I believe, right? Because you used to get,
no.
I believe you used to get a minute, no?
They did have a minute. Or sorry, that would be if both teams capped in overtime. That would be if both teams took it to overtime and capped, then you would each get a minute to attack and defend. However, since one team capped with time, they have the advantage, so they're going to get that little extra time that they had when they capped to try and do it again.
Yeah.
And like we just saw with Rolling Meadows, they made it work. They took that little extra time that they had coming off of the first round, which unfortunately we did not get to see, and they made it work. They made it work indeed. I was going to shout out Cookies because, wow, he was really making it work by being in their backline, standing on top of that bus, and really disrupting the backline. But I think Rolling Meadows must have heard me. I didn't think I was leaking through to their Discord chat, but they must have heard me when I said, kind of ignore the bugs in the backline and really go for it. They found the pick on the Genji. They found their way into the point and kind of just forced all of George Washington back there.
I mean, that's incredible, and that's what you mentioned is this has just been something spectacular from both teams as we held to Esperanza?
It's like Esperanza.
Esperanza.
Yeah. Tough to say. Nobody says it right.
We're heading on a push map.
Yes. On a push map.
They're aligned. They're blue and red, and it's perfect.
Yes.
And we don't have to change it. Yes.
Yep. But this is only
It's
game
so
2.
sad looking at this chat, knowing that they don't know what's about to happen to them. The
it's
George
true.
Washington chat, but
It's true. But to all the Sergio enjoyers, I mean, heck of a game. Wow. I mean, that Genji gameplay really, really was something else. I mean, props to Sergio, making it work out there, giving it their all.
Sergio locked in. That's the best way to describe it. And
Yes. And like we see, W healers. I mean, wow, really helping out on both sides. Incredible healers. But speaking of healers, wow, Lifeweaver, hello. That's a pick. That is not common. But it looks like they're swapping already.
So
I want to
assume-
see it.
No, no,
Oh,
no.
okay.
We're getting
Wow.
we are getting
This is-
Lifeweaver gameplay in the
this
year
is-
2024. Ladies
This is
and
going to be
gentlemen.
great. This is going to be great.
I see so many people in chat going like, no, I've never seen these people. They first-time chatters, and they're just like, "Let's go,
yes.
Sergio."
Yes, let's go, Sergio, and let's go esports.
Let's go esports. Let's go esports. Well, another Huskies team already won a state championship today.
Yes.
We'll see if it'll be the Patriots or another Mustangs team that is not mine winning one tonight. As we see, obviously, the hamster pick being a pretty big into here, but this Lifeweaver pick might actually be a pretty interesting counter to that.
Yeah, it definitely could prove to have some value. I mean, Lifeweaver does do a lot of healing. It's kind of just the util that's a little concerning. But
That
let's see
is
if they'll
true,
make
but
it work.
it can help with some poke damage. Guy's going to go down, going to get cookies, and I mean, that's just a lot of it. Just how do you deal with that as Lifeweaver, and how do you play that? And honestly, I think there's a lot of ways you can neutralize that random bowling ball incident where you have the Hammond running through your team, and I think that's not a bad pick, and that's a really creative pick from Rolling Meadows.
Yeah, they're definitely trying to make it work here. Maybe they felt Kings Row was a little too scrappy. They wanted to kind of take their own pace with it, and if that's how they want to take it, then we'll see what comes of that.
I mean, you can just kind of go like, yeah, well, you're kind of down there rolling. I'm going to go up here, and I'm going to heal my team, and I'm going to make sure everybody's healed for at least a moment before I get caught up here. Because it's not a safe space to be most times when you're on that platform. But it's an interesting thing. Grapplified getting this team going to help Gaz get Regalia, and I mean, that's another great play. Royal Regalia goes down on that other end, but it's a super interesting situation. I'm seeing a lot of Isabel support. I don't know who that is. If you could give me a username, I could shout them out.
Yeah,
Ray
we will
Spring
shout
going to get
them out.
Katiro, and Cookie's going to get Panda. It's going the other way. The Patriots kind of have control now. Cookie's going to get Frost Layer through all of it. As Grapplified, random hamster ambush.
Wow, I'd say the biggest thing I see here is nobody's really moved the bot. They've been fighting a lot. They've been fighting for 2 whole minutes, and there's only 24 meters on this bot.
I don't know yet. It's actually 30. Actually,
No.
you just said that, so unfortunate for you.
Yep, a little bit.
On the other end, though, it's going to be GW with more of an advantage here, and this specific part of the map is super interesting because of those windows, and those windows are definitely going to play the favor of whatever team is in them, and I would not be surprised with how this is going if GW is ending up in them. As I watch in my right-hand side of my mirrors and my eye, I see that hamster making a problem up there and forcing them out. Sergio going to get Gaz in that back line. He is on fire after that dynamite, though. But his teammate going to help him out on that other side as Frostlayer is finished off by Ray Spring. Grapplified gets the healer, though, as both healers are now down. There's a Kiriko on the other side. Lifeweaver threw down the tree and his final moments. Now there's 4 ults for Rolling Meadows, and they just got point.
Wow, I mean, that was a great turnaround. You know, Lifeweaver throwing down the tree, or as we call it, the bum shui, because that's what we like to call it. I don't know, that's what it sounds like he's saying. But
Actually, yeah, I didn't really think about that. He did kind of say that there.
Yep, shui or bum shui. That's what we think he says.
I mean, absolutely not what I was expecting you to say.
No.
The
But
chat,
it is something.
The chat has just seen the loss previously.
Oh.
That's really interesting with how late it is.
Yes.
Either way, Frostlayer going to get cookies in that back line. Sergio goes down, and even with Alt's battle coming now finally to a head, somebody has altered, and it is Hamster Minds. Royal Regalia going to get one in the form of Gaz, and even though his team took some deaths there, he's going to still be able to hold on to this as they kind of recuperate. Moira getting right back and immediately running away because I don't want to fight a Zarya Laser easy.
Yep, and we're seeing here Rolling Meadows holding on to it, committing the bob for that extra area pressure. And they're going to keep pushing, maybe take the lead here.
Yeah, right at that line. They're about
2 meter difference.
1.5248 meters difference, and it's not going to matter for them as
they will be stopped.
Like GW just kind of is losing a team fight for 5 minutes, and then they suddenly win, and everybody dies, and it is just.
And this Farah is getting caught out.
I'm not
hope
sure
they
about
group with the team or maybe make a swap, because Farah's in a really tough spot now with all these changes. So I'm really hoping that get some. They are going to stick to the fire, so we'll have to see how this turns out for Rolling Meadows here.
I'm going to guarantee you that specifically we are having a horrible time getting into the back lines. What do we think? And then somebody goes, Farah, and they go, okay, Farah. And they are going to probably see that it's not going to work. I don't really know.
Yeah, a little hard to get in the back line.
I did look a little bit of the patch notes before I got here. I haven't played Overwatch in 5 months, admittedly. I don't think a lot of people would blame me with how the game was in that state, but it's definitely right on the backtrack, and those Pharah nerfs are definitely a part of it, whether you're a Pharah player or not. Regalia going to get one. Gaz going to get cookies, and that Pharah pick, not awesome, but they're not dealing with it, so it's going to work out. I lied. Sergio going to catch the Pharah not looking back to them. Sergio gets 2 in that section and just can't get away from the Zarya laser.
Yeah, just some great tracking by Ramplified there.
Obviously, he's using trackpad, as all Zarya players are. That's not true. Grabify does have his ult, though, as well as Panda and Catriot, but if you take a look towards the top left of your screen, you may notice something about the Q button that has not been pressed, and that's just kind of been the nature of GW's game. The Patriots really don't use their ults that much until they really need to. It's about getting desperate for it, and I don't think that's a problem, is they understand what they're going to do, and they understand how they're going to play the game.
It's looking like we don't have an answer on who Izzy is yet. Maybe Bluest? We'll see. We'll try to get to the end, to the bottom of that one.
That person believes in Izzy, and I believe they're on George Washington, so that narrows it down partially.
Yes,
Regalio's
I believe
ult,
in Izzy too.
I don't blame you. I kind of would believe on anybody on GW right now, and I'm not sure what Pharah is doing necessarily, in the sense of, I think that Zarya almost got murdered solo in that own line, and Pharah was not helping, and none of them have heals, but Royal Regalia just, that's the part about Hammond that sucks. Or Hammond, is that? Yeah, Hammond that sucks is that sometimes he can just leave, as Zarya's ult's going to come out, Sergio and Cookies are going to get Elims, so it's going to make it really, really difficult to get it down. We see some Bluest support for the Kiriko.
We're seeing what the heck is a robot, and what is the goal? The goal is, as you have control of the robot with your team, you are going to let the robot push the barricade, and at the end of 10 minutes, or until somebody pushes it far enough, whoever has the farthest push wins, hence the game mode push.
Rayspring encourages the robot to move forward just a little bit faster, punching it in the back.
Yes.
This is the 1A state championship, ladies and gentlemen, just so you know, the lower system. Sergio and Bluest is their sister, so I don't really know what's going on with terms of this family that's happened in chat. Sergio punching out Gaz. That's going to be a really big start now. On the other end, Sergio dashes through Katiro on the other end. Very big plays from Sergio all the time. Is Royal Regalia taking it a little bit slow. The slow, relaxing life getting out back while his team gets the front lines without him. Cookies goes down, unfortunately, on the other end. Regalia's returned, and that means the offense is back in gear for GM. Or GW, oh my gosh, I keep saying GM and I don't know why. I said Grandmaster, that's why. Either way, man, this is a really interesting game, and here comes the mines again, and that's going to completely neutralize that section of the map. Regalia going to get grapplified in the Hectic, and that Zarya is a key part of that team. The Keystone is gone, and Gaz on that Pharah is going to be without somebody to rather anchor on, but they do have a Mercy now.
I didn't even realize.
Yeah, I just saw that beam. I was like, that's a Mercy.
That is.
And that's a little bit of a rough pick if you can't protect her, and that's kind of what you might see with Regalia in the back line. He wants that Mercy dead, and there's not much you can do. He's got 1,000 health. He's a giant wrecking ball, and he's really scary. Regalia did punch out there, but that GW push is slowly getting put away, but that's kind of how they do. Here comes Kitsune Rush, though. This could be an entire momentum shift. Dragon Sergio has the Dragon Blade on the other side. Cookies punches out Flosslayer, and Sergio gets up and over for the stab. And this could be it. The other end says hello, lets him know that it is game over. The George Washington Patriots move on to round 3 up 2-1.
All right. I mean, that was a strong showing, especially at the end there from Sergio. I mean, we've been hyping him up all game. The chat's definitely hyping him up, and this player of the game will as well. A great showing here. I mean, a very strong Genji. Yeah, it's a repeat of what just happened. A little bit of replay for you that we don't have to work on. But yeah, definitely really strong and knows exactly where to position on the map to help his team. I mean, wow.
I mean, and if that Mercy didn't get killed by the other team,
yeah,
Sergio was getting him, and that would have been basically 5 Sergio kills. But oh my goodness, Sergio, man, that is an absolutely insane Genji pick. He not played anything else but Genji, and you know what? I'm not going to say he needs to.
No, absolutely not. If there's one pick that Sergio's good at, you know it's Genji.
And I think that's the story of GW. It's one pick. We have all got one character.
That's true.
And we're going to go out there, and we're going to punch you in the mouth, and we're going to beat you. And it's such an interesting play.
It really is, because you would think that, a lot of teams go for, okay, what can we counter? There's, some usually footage available, or what teams play generally in your league. And, it's got to be well known that this George Washington team, they're going to play ball. They're going to play Genji, Tracer, Lucio, Kiri, or Moira Kiri, not Lucio. So what they're going to play, but it really doesn't matter. I mean, they're just so good at it that to that level of extreme, it doesn't quite matter. And wow, they're really showing us a great one out there.
Yeah, I mean, this is absolutely spectacular. This is a lot closer than our other match. If you were not in, it was 3-0 Huskies, and all credit to them. That was very, very talented, and they are a very, very talented team. But they definitely are far just. I mean,
they're very good.
They're in another league.
They are. They're the best in the league for the reason they wanted to scrim us.
Yeah,
they do.
They scrimmed Miami of Ohio, I understand, and beat Miami of Ohio.
Is that true?
I believe they beat, or I believe they've played Miami of Ohio.
Oh yeah, scrimmed them.
They beat ISU's academy team. They beat Kent State. I mean, there's college programs out there that cannot beat Naperville North, and Naperville North, I believe, came second in the national championships 2019 or 2021. They are a dynasty program, and it is hard to beat them in Overwatch, but
they really are.
We did upset them in Mario Kart.
There you go. There you go. Take your wins where you can get them.
You get them.
But wow, that is something here because I mean I didn't know that for certain. I'll have to take that to the coach. But you listed some giants that we fight in our league, so for them to take on our giants, that really puts it into perspective of how Naperville North is. So
yeah, and I mean if you're recruiting for NIU, I would just kind of say you point at the Naperville North team and you go, yeah, that guy would fit somewhere.
Apparently, they have a support who's coming here. So
yeah, I learned that recently, but I don't think he's necessarily committed to the esports team. I think he was
not entirely certain.
Going to NIU.
I think yep. Whoever that is, I think they're making their way to NIU. But if they are going to continue Overwatch, unfortunately, I don't think we're finding a support spot for the next year. So unfortunate for them, we already have our support spot. But best of luck to them wherever they end. Best of luck to everybody, as we got a lot of seniors leaving us.
Go to NIU is kind of what I'm getting out of this. I'm obviously not committed to NIU, so I'm not doing great to advertise you guys. So I apologize, but
no, we promote NIU, but we also promote going where you see fit and going where the opportunity is. So we hope that all these seniors graduating, especially in esports, we hope if that's your thing, keep up with it. If not, do what you get enjoyment out of in life.
For our Mike Noss is in the chat. Mike Noss is a very close caster friend. This is run us through. Actually, I think you're going to explain it better than I can. Run us through this game mode.
Sure. So this is your standard control game mode. This is I think it was one of the first game modes invented in Overwatch. So basically, it's King of the Hill. If you ever have a mode with King of the Hill, two teams are going to be fighting for one objective. They're going to take it. When they take it, they're going to start earning percentage. When they get to 100%, they win. But the other team can obviously eliminate them and take it back for themselves.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. So this Regalia GW team is going to come out first. But if you're going to see this is a hamster on an ambush, and it always has been. There's apparently siblings somewhere in this chat, so shout out to your sibling. Hopefully they're doing well. Regalia gonna get panned, and that's what we talked about. They just let them on point and then isolated the Zenyatta. That's one dead. It's like a horror movie. They're just slowly getting picked off. Frostslayer gets Racewing though on the Helix. That's a good clap back with the Rockets. Rook Cookies though in the backline gets 2. That poke damage from his team definitely helping. Moving forward, Sergio gets Frostslayer. On the other end, now forward, Grapplified fighting 4 alone, won't get much done. Royal Regalia, Eric gets 1.
All right, a strong showing here from Cookies, and I believe that what they're saying in the chat is the teammates are siblings. I think 2 of George Washington's team is siblings, so that's even cooler. I like that.
That is really cool. We had we're gonna have siblings this year on the Modern Warfare 2 team.
Awesome.
So it's a really weird thing that I think has happened a lot. That it's just kind of odd, but
it's kind of nice.
I mean, I guess you grow up, you do the same things as your sibling if you're close enough in age, and yeah, I don't know what GHS is, but I don't know if they're playing today. Katiro gets Bluest on that front. The other end, now Ray Spring trying to fight towards it. Doesn't realize that his team's kind of isolated from him, and that's kind of what the interesting part is you just kind of have so many isolated players. They're all kind of playing their own game, but it's kind of all working at the same time because they nod into each other really, really well. It's a beautiful blanket of all assortments, colors, and threads is what I would call this GW team.
Yeah, big stick out there from the Tracer. Let's see what they make with it.
undeniably true. Down goes Frostlayer. That's a big disruption from the Hammond as he just runs away. No thanks, I don't want any more damage, Gaz. Sergio gets 2, Cookies gets 1, and Gaz is finished off by Royal Regalia. This is bad news for the Rolling Meadows Mustangs as it slowly gets away from their grip.
Yeah, and exactly what we just saw there. Rolling Meadows has to pick a different target than this ball. We saw Gaz trying to rip into it, but when there's 4 people shooting at you and one of them's got 700 health, he's not going to die. Ball isn't going to die. You got to pick a different target. Yeah, so I'm hoping that they can make that adjustment.
Because ball dies when you have no healers, and ball's just going to infinitely get healed in that front line. There definitely is going to be situations where you will kill ball because he does take too much on, but then there's situations like this where you have ball so low, you all focus on ball, then Sergio comes backlines and you go have to deal with him, and now at the front you have a Moira ulting. It's not a good situation, and they could capitalize off it here as Blues gets Gaz. It doesn't look great for Rolling Meadows, but almost got another healer. That would have been huge for Rolling Meadows. I don't even know where Sergio is. And you kind of mentioned that they just kind of all take vacations randomly to go get heals, and I really do appreciate that. It is definitely a interesting play as they're not too relying too much on their healers.
Yeah, absolutely. And with the new passive heal, it definitely can be a lot more consistent.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's just, I mean, you go run around. I mean, you're playing a different game of Overwatch. They played this entirely different than Rolling Meadows is. It's kind of let everybody do art, or there's the standard Overwatch team. Grappified going to get Sergio, kind of got solo ulted there. Not much he could have done. Frostlayer, that's kind of a waste of an ult, and that's not really what you want to see with only 45 on your total.
The ults are about still even though, so not entirely out for Rolling Meadows here.
Yeah, the only issue is the percentages are about a 30% difference, and when they both have ults, you're going to be about even with them. They're probably going to have ults first, but not if they use them. Sergio and Regalia bring out the mines and the Blade. The Blade gets 1. Cookies goes down off screen as the Blade is brought to Zarya, but so is the Massive Hamster and Tracer. A team kill, and this could very well spell the end of round 1. Not the game. There is 2 rounds. It is first to 3 in this best of 5 round. It is a little confusing.
On this map, there will be best of 3.
Good reaction time from Sergio. Here it is. Build up to anticipation.
Might be too high. I don't think they touch. Wow.
Wow, he did touch just barely. I don't even think he touched first. I think one of his teammates saw that and jumped in. Regalia going to get 1. Grappified did get Sergio, though. That's a less DPS as Grappified goes down. That anchor of that team is going to be lost, and that is big. However, Royal Regalia has taken a ton of damage, but it does not matter. He's got a team to back him. And round 1 of round 4 goes to GW. The Patriots are ahead.
I mean, very strong showing out there from GW. I mean, like we mentioned, playing the same comp, but it is absolutely working. I think that, you know, I've been saying it, but I'll say it again. Rolling Meadows needs to isolate their targets here, and it is doable. I think. I mean, they're swapping to the Cassidy here. I think they're going to try to make this work with obviously playing into this Wrecking Ball here. I mean, you throw the new magnetic grenade, and it'll take ball out of form for a few seconds, the hinder. But we'll see if that has any effect on Royal Regalia here, especially with the Bastion pick. Maybe it will.
Yeah, it just kind of feels like Royal Regalia is playing their game, and they want to do kind of whatever they want. But I do appreciate them. We haven't seen a lot of changes today, and that's kind of sucked because it's just sort of a lot of teams play to their strengths, but they don't really understand that their strengths are not going to work. Frostlayer does not know there's someone behind him, it feels like, and Lifeweaver is going to make sure he gets out. Gaz going to get Sergio, and that's what you mentioned. That McCree is a big play if he can get picks, and that is a good pick for him. They should win this team fight.
Great shot.
Oh my, I don't know how we saw that. Cookies goes down, no DPS now for the other side. Is Rolling Meadows is going to make it a fight.
Bastion did go turret mode, so won't have it for 12 seconds. Kind of a little cautious, but hopefully that ability will come up in time for this next team fight here.
Don't think it's going to matter. He can't really get hooked anywhere. Yeah. It's just kind of a matter of where he's going to go as Metal Gear Hamster finally comes to a culmination. That is a good Ana pick. I really think this is just the anti-hamster kit that they're going for, which is really interesting. And this is an entirely different team except for the Zarya than we saw last round, and I believe they had Ana for like 5 seconds. The other end, Regalia going to get Gaz, though. That is a big one down, as that is just a bowling lane, and he's going to go right down it and grab. Okay, Gaplified and Panda are siblings. That is a really good thing to enter. I don't know what's happening, but I think we have 2 sets of siblings now in this game. Either way, Regalia going to get 1, Cookie's going to get 1, and then Frost going to go down, but his team just cannot support him. as Cookies gets the triple kill, a sneaky one as they're all trying to go for that through the hamster.
Wow, the biggest thing I saw there was surprisingly a great improvement from Rolling Meadows. They are playing perfectly stacked, which is exactly what you need to do with the aggression that George Washington is taking. However, even though they're playing stacked, their supports right now do not complement that well at all. These are probably the two worst supports to have if you're playing stacked. So hopefully they can make something work, but they might have to end up swapping here.
The supports are more anti-hamster than stack on that end. We do have two pairs of siblings, Gaplified and Panda on the Rolling Meadows team for siblings, as well as the two we mentioned earlier on the other side. Regalia and Cookies get one individually. Gaplified does get Sergio as a consolation prize. Ooh, Cookies just caught in the unlucky spot, goes down. Bastion flying through the air, not really sure why. Regalia gonna get the Bastion in that process. Gaz, 1 HP and a dream. And it's unfortunately become a nightmare for him. 58-60% now, 40% away from a state championship, and Sergio and Bluest are the other two siblings on the other team.
All right.
They complement each other well. That makes a lot of sense.
Yes, absolutely.
That's probably why their ult combos have been absolutely stunning and on point all night. That's really, really funny, actually.
Yeah, Blade Rush. I mean, it's really, really a great combo, and they're doing it well.
Regalia coming down now. He's going to be right in his back line here. He's just going to, actually, no, I don't really want to. The other end, now the Life Reaper tree is up. That's going to be big heals, despite it being not great. They could have probably put that forward more, but here comes the ult. It's going to miss everyone. Grapplified's ult grapples nobody. On the other end, Sergio does have Blade. This is going to be the final team fight if Rolling Meadows can't win it. Here comes the Bastion ult. All the ults are coming out now. 98, 99, overtime. They're going to try and survive. Rolling Meadows have everyone but the hamster now, and Rayspring. Rayspring staying on. Now it's just the hamster.
All right.
Rolling Meadows lives another day.
They are still in it.
Can you guys pause the game while I go to the bathroom?
We can ask.
We can ask. We won't, but we can.
We could.
We could.
I know what they'd say, but we can we can ask.
Mines come down. The hamster never died, so it's going to be interesting here. It's kind of a team fight with him alone right now as his team slowly trickles in. Staggering has been the name of the game in George Washington, which is normally things teams try to avoid. Proxy mines are almost all gone, so it's going to definitely delay less. 64, 65% now, so Grappified leading this team, anchoring it right at the middle. They're kind of all going out, and I would guess going on little scavenging missions to try and get pokes on the other end. But Grappified can go right in their spawn, push them back even further, and delay them even longer. But there is a hamster in his back line, absolutely trying to annihilate Frostlayer and almost completing it, and they just cannot kill him. On the other end, Sergio going to get a first kill with the Blade. He is dealing with a lot and dives right into a Death Blossom. That gets two. An absolutely great ult from Gaz that's going to put them in their favor. Gaz charging forward, trying to get that Moira now. Moira trying to ignore it. He can't ignore that, though. Double shotguns at the triple kill, and Rolling Meadows, I think we'll have round two here if she doesn't contest.
It's going to be one last touch.
One last touch for Cookie. Rewind, trying to get more time. I mean, ult comes down in a very weird spot. It's not going to matter. Cookies goes down. Now it's just the hamster they have to deal with. Trying to get the hamster before the rest of the team returns. However, Sergio is back. Sergio's not a fun guy to have on point with the hamster. More mines. They're not giving this one up just yet. If they win this, they win the state championship. It'll be George Washington's first ever state championship in any game ever. Gaz and Gaplified get two. Royal Regalia get one more. And the Mustangs hang on.
Wow. I mean, that was a great showing out there from George Washington trying to take back that point, but Rolling Meadows showing that they are starting to adapt to this George Washington comp. I mean, they're starting to play more stacked. They're starting to have better target focus. They're starting to, stay alive a bit longer. And, like I said, that Ana isn't a great pick when you're playing so close like that. And they did swap over to the Kiriko. Definitely helped a lot more.
Yeah, this is crazy. Rolling Meadows right now is playing understanding that if they lose this round, they will not make it. They will not win the state, and they will lose right here. However, if they win this, they go on to round 5. This is a battle of storylines and a battle of both teams who have never, ever had any window in Overwatch. I'm not sure either team has made it to LAN for Overwatch previously. I know they have in other sports with Valorant for George Washington once, and once Leiden for Rolling Meadows. They were a pretty decent team that lost the state championship to Leiden in Rocket League last year. The other end now, Grapplified up top. It's all about levels, as I mentioned earlier. You want to be going top down in Overwatch. It's a very very helpful strategy to deal with. Grabfly does a little look around there, can't really seem to find anybody. Lasers on Sergio's had really good tracking all night and just trying to hunt down Sergio, but the other end, there's just a big hamster life grip lever though. The life grip really, really good, gonna save him there. Sergio and Blues go down, Cookies goes down again, and that stack is amazingly, despite the healers not complimenting it, well, as much anymore, they still got Kiriko, which is a good one for that. I mean, they are absolutely figuring it out.
Yeah, and I mean, if we could swap this Lifeweaver to, honestly, Brig, Lucio, I mean, wow. Rolling Meadows would be cooking.
I don't know, I mean, because Rolling Meadows is dealing with the rolling ball, and Lifeweaver is a good counter for that. You can get teammates away from danger pretty quickly, but the problem is the danger is everywhere with the hamster kind of, you know, everywhere. So here he comes to the back line, just pretty low. They're going to try and focus him, but this is where they make their money. Regalia goes down, that's big for GW. They're probably not going to win this team fight now. They make their money when the other team is trying to figure out how to deal with the hamster, and then there's a Genji in their back lines.
Absolutely. And yeah, we actually did see a prime example of the Lifeweaver being a clutch pick there. I think someone would have died to Sergio on a dash through, but the life grip did come out. We'll see this 2v1 here on the Gaz. Falls in favor of George Washington.
2 supports, 1 Reaper, 1 Room. Did not go well for the Reaper, which is not what you would think. On the other end now, this is so tense. Coming down now, Hamster Hammer brings it through. He loses about 400 health in a fraction of a second. Frostlayer gets Cookies. Cookies did get panned on the process, so healing is low. Rayspring does get Frostlayer. It's going the way of GW this team fight, but I wouldn't count them out. They're still playing together pretty well. Kateriot gets missed by Regalia. He's going for his team more. They're all kind of bunching up back again. The healer does live for now. Never mind, Katerio goes down. 14, but an absolute keystone of the support team. Sergio coming back up. More about levels. He's going to go down to the grapplified laser. Oh my goodness. Lifeweaver tree up on point for the Rolling Meadows Mustangs. They're going to get this point back. If they win this point, they survive to the last round of the state final. For now, they need to finish this off. Random Reaper appearance. That is not a good teleport. I don't know if he meant to put it that close or if he was just doing that for whatever reason, but it did seem to distract the other team enough. And it looks like they are going to lose point, unfortunately, as Grappified gets sectioned away from his healers. Alt up top, though, that's going to be big for the Mustangs. He's going to get so much damage off. What a Zarya bubble. On the other end, Frostlayer gets Sergio. Coming down now. Isolated healer. Rayspring loses it to the soldier. I can see his mouth shaking. He is so amped up. On the other end, Bluest goes down. Frostlayer, 3. Gaz gets another on the ult. And oh my goodness, the Rolling Meadows Mustangs, never mind, the Rolling Meadows Mustangs are going to, they're going to hang on. Round 5 will happen right at the end. You saw the Sojourn die.
Yes. Wow. Wow.
Who the hell are you?
That was extremely close. But we saw, I mean, yeah, I was just about to say it. We saw an excellent showing from Frostlayer here. This was at the final fight.
This is the play that wins the game.
Yeah, I mean, wow, to isolate those targets, to use your, your abilities when you need to. I mean, wow, that was a great showing from Frostlayer. And speaking of showings, we will have a show here in just a minute because we are going to map 5 in the finals.
In the state finals. This is a long time since this has happened. We don't get games like this a lot just because high school competition, it's going to take some time to get to that level where it's always close.
Yeah.
And with those divisions, it's certainly going to help. And this is why you're seeing this, is because of those divisions. In terms of, you've got so many schools now, you can switch it up. Chat is, I think, watching the first round 2 loss.
They're either watching, yep, they might be watching, the second point where it went 1-1. They might be watching right now. And
that was, I mean, if I'm a George Washington fan, I just fell to my knees and started like, no.
Yeah, that was tough. I mean, they might need to make a swap.
I don't know, because our Rolling Meadows, yes, definitely got it. They definitely figured it out, and they definitely switched it here. But you're on Dorado.
Yeah.
And
very different map.
That is a very different map than Antarctic Peninsula, and that map was chosen by, I guess, it was chosen by
George Washington.
That map last time was chosen by Rolling Meadows, no? Because
loser takes map. So yes, Rolling Meadows took GW to Antarctica, and we're taking them to Dorado.
You hear by that funky music.
Absolutely.
We're for a funky game. It is LeBron basketball hamster versus. Maybe we figured this one out.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Absolutely.
Start your day in a scrim match getting destroyed is not really where you want to start your day. But the Rolling Meadows Mustangs have made their way back, and they'll finish second. They'll come home with the trophy. But
Yeah. Absolutely. And yeah, it is important to note that both of these teams will be going home with some sort of prize here, and we will be jumping into game. Just realize
go
we're
big or
still
go
on
home,
cam.
as Love You 518 just said. I think he's about to go watch the round 3 tragedy because I think he's a George W. fan based on what he's been saying.
Yeah, that's a GW fan who will be a little disappointed. But we are excited. we are excited.
I am pumped for this round 5. You
Round
do not
5.
see games like this, man. This is... If you are tuning in, consider yourself lucky. Send this to every human being you've ever met or seen on the street. If you're walking on the street right now, I want you to hold your phone outwards, and I want you
Give
to
him a QR code.
get a QR code, print it out right now, start putting it around.
We want more
Time is
viewers.
waning. We need more viewers. More people have to see this great end. Regalia, Gaz now in that front line. He's going to try and get up top to that Regalia and try and deal with him. But this is the map that we initially saw how strong this combo can be, I believe, with just the random team fight win happening out of nowhere. But there's going to be picks. There's going to be damage coming in very slowly onto that Rolling Meadows team. It's going to be all on these healers, I think, is where the key of this game is. Reaper teleports backlines. It's going to work out really, really well, unless Sergio can do something, and he does. Gaz goes down in the incident. Some great play by Sergio to keep them alive. On the other end, Castillo doesn't want to teleport up there, decides, I'm leaving, jumps down, and they're going to put it through the choke point, and that is not where you want to go deal with a hamster.
A lot of shots being rained down here from Cookies. Definitely a force to be reckoned with. They're just going to push on under.
They don't need a tank. I mean, they don't need a tank if they're not gonna contest them up top. They don't need one. And Gaz almost got the soldier, but
might fall here.
It is a gang chasing after him down below. There's kind of 2 team fights happening now. One under the bridge, one over the bridge, but
and everyone
Gaz
lived.
Did escape. Nobody died. Really surprisingly, because Gaz had, I think, maybe 20 health.
Yeah. Wow. Gaz back in now.
Did Cookies just dodge every shuriken?
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Cookie's still up top. They haven't done anything about him. Gaz certainly tried twice.
Doomfist.
Almost got him the first time. Doomfist!
From our Wrecking Ball team?
Our Wrecking Ball team has gone rogue. They're going Doomfist, and he is dead instantly. Frostlayer gets him in the front line. He did not extend. I don't know about the Doomfist pick. I'm definitely not opposed to it with how they've been playing, but maybe that's just some first life woes. But
yeah, a little bit of jitters.
Rolling Meadows, they've got the first point.
Ooh, almost off the high. They're just gonna kind of look at they're just gonna look at each other.
Oh, and it almost kills Regalia, but he's gonna stay alive. I think they just witnessed the loss. I'm seeing a lot of no's begin in chat from GW fans. Really interesting. This delay makes things way interesting.
It is, yes.
The other end, Regalia now fighting for it. Cookies gets Gaz up top. Regalia tried to help. But definitely. Oh my goodness! No, sir, you go back down there, he says. Regalia, Eric, great play. Gets the player of Frostlayer back down. I mean, Gaz was playing Reaper earlier, now it's Frostlayer. They're going to switch it up just a little bit. Gaz on Genji now has Dragon Blade. That's something to look out for as we hit this other team fight. As I don't understand this play. He keeps doing it. It's not going to work, man. Oh, my God.
Rolling Meadows thinks it's really important to have this high ground, but they don't have much to contest it with that Doomfist up there.
Definitely don't, but it's still surprisingly working real well. He does the same thing, and oh my God, it actually worked. Never mind, he died instantly, but he did get up there for the first time, as Sergio does deal with him. They almost walked straight into that Meteor Strike. Gaz, though, caught unsuspectingly down by that Meteor Strike. Nobody can test up top, but he'll definitely go down there and make it count. The other end, trying to get through it. Cookies just nails Grappified and Katiro, and isolates Katiro, and Grappified can't get heals because of it.
Yeah, I mean, that was certainly a tough fight. They're trying to take this high ground. What I'd like to see him do is either keep trying to push from under, you know, take 0 damage. We're going to see a teleport again, I think. Or just go the full way around. Take the team fight. The cart comes later.
Yeah, I mean, the team fight, you definitely can't move the card with everybody, like, live and contesting the card, and you're going to die if you do that. So, kind of an obvious statement there, but it's just definitely, like, you need to focus on that team fight more than anything. Always I'm kind of a believer of, and moving that point is not really an important part because you're not going to move the point without killing the other team. And Sergio is doing just that. That's 2 dead for him. He's got his ult. Wouldn't be surprised to see it if he does need it. He's not going to bring it out. His team's going to keep him alive. Oh my goodness, Royal Regalia stun saves the life of Sergio.
I mean, that was close. That was a great fight. We did, I believe we got 1 ult out, but now the swap is from Gas onto Farah now. So we'll see how this maybe works to push them off the high ground. Maybe that's what they're thinking, but Farah is still in a weak spot, as we talked about earlier.
I don't understand these Farah picks that have been going on today. Not a single one has worked, first off, and
yeah,
I just don't understand it. It didn't work on Kings Row for Rolling Meadows, that's for sure.
Yep.
But, I mean, they did end up winning that game, but it just didn't really feel like they won that game, if that makes sense. Grapplify does get Sergio. Lewis gonna get Gaz though. Oh my goodness, the Doomfist punch nails 2, and they're in the wall, almost dead. Regalia and Cookies though still get caught despite Grapplify actually being at 22 health. He's back in the action, gets 1-2, and is going for the 3rd punch.
You know, if I'm Rolling Meadows here, I'm really tense. They're trying so hard not to commit this ultimate, but it's kind of costing them time, and now Doomfist is back.
I don't know. GW is still not in a great spot because the tree's going to go up. That's probably not a great choice, but, I mean...
Well, you know, I'm glad they committed some ult because I think they might have needed a little confidence to help, but maybe with that Life Weaver being back, you know, they might not have needed that tree, but...
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, but
yeah.
It's definitely an interesting play. We see that a lot more in the 1A level. These players are less experienced. There's less players in the pool, so you're getting guys... I know there's a plat in this game, and I know there's also a GM in this game. It is a big, big difference, and you're going to see that, and... I don't even know who the plat is. I could not tell you who the plat is because they're all
all
awesome.
doing great right now. I mean, yeah, rank doesn't mean everything, and we're seeing that out here.
Yeah, if your team is good and you're contributing to that team, I mean,
Doesn't
sending
matter.
it. I would say the only person who I would suspect of is Gaz, but I know he's not a plat. He's just really, really advantageous on getting into the high ground. Regalia punches away the Mercy. Sergio gets 1. Lewis gets another. The offense not going great as the defense locks in. He is absolutely locked on. That's some good aim from Cookies.
Good aim, great tracking. That was, wow.
I would guess he's definitely got a mouse button that he's been using to slow down that sensitivity because that went from like swinging around to little pan. Little
You'd be surprised. I think you would, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. Definitely solid aim. He's very, very calm.
Yeah.
Very collected. Cookies has been great all night.
It's funny, we just got a chat that says Cookie schmovin'.
Cookie is
and we just saw it in Cookie's play, so in 3 minutes you'll see what we mean.
Oh man, they're still on there. Oh wow, that is really crazy. And they're gonna push down. Oh, coming up top is a random Gaz incident, and like I mentioned, that's gonna work. Like Frostlayer keep teleporting up there, but that's gonna work eventually if you can combo it with it now. As no more hamster has been really interesting. 3 gone for that from that side. From that side, that's it.
As Royal Regalia walking it in. Wow.
He didn't even get the kill. That was just really...
didn't.
Oh my god.
That was pretty funny. Imagine just a Doomfist walking at you.
That was not a cool perspective of Grapplify.
That is one of the worst things you can see as a
that's
Doomfist.
traumatizing because you know he's about to get his punch back and you're about to go flying.
Yeah, you're done. You're done.
George Washington's defense locked in. Kind of an understatement.
Yeah.
Kind of put it together.
A lot of cart progress from Rolling Meadows, though. I wouldn't count them out of this.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. They're this far into this game for a reason. 20 seconds now. Ult's all coming out. Kitsune somewhere. Ult somewhere. We're watching it all. Cookies gets 2. His teammates definitely to blame for those. On the other end, Grapplify just trying to track up top as the payload is moving. Ult, however, from backside is Sergio. Sergio gets 1. Fighting the Zarya, dealing with the bubble. Gets the Life Weaver, turns around. Hey, you're at 2 health. Gets him. Cookies gets 1 more. And it looks like the defense will hold Sergio and Cookies. Oh my gosh. They grab the reins and control the Mustangs.
Wow. I mean, yeah, I can definitely see why Dorado was the pick here from George Washington. I mean, they've had some really good holds. Rolling Meadows able to break through it quite a bit.
Do you think they sing the national anthem after every game win?
They might. We'll be here to hear it.
That is true. They are the George Washington Patriots, Rolling Meadow Mustangs. It is super cool to see these 2 programs. I don't think a single one is a state championship in any sport. So
well, this will be awful. Not
this will
awful.
be
Not awful. I apologize.
It will be awful for the losing team.
It will be.
I do give you that.
They will be a little heartbroken, but you know, whoever comes out of this will be very happy. And I think, you know, whoever gets second place out of this should also be very happy. I mean, these are 2 dominant performances. We are on map 5 here, coming down to the last moment right here, we will see if George Washington can push it. Yes, George Washington will be pushing. We're going to see if George Washington can push this payload, and if they don't reach point 2 at 69.34 meters, then the game will be over. And if they reach it, the game will also be over.
Oh, man.
So we're going to see.
This is it. No overtime?
No overtime.
This is it.
Yes.
We are watching the final round of the final IHSEA season for some of these guys. Some of them will return back. There's some young teams. We did not see an old team win anything today. Springfield and Naperville North, I was wrong. Both of them have 4 seniors and 1 junior, which is hard because you're going to lose a lot of players. And both those teams are going to be in interesting spots next year. But for now, Rolling Meadows, George Washington, they duel for their first ever school program state championships. I've never been more excited to watch a game of Overwatch in my life.
Yes, this is way more intense than the pro scene.
A lot more meaning to it, too. Pro senior
Yes.
time isn't limited, and here it is. Sergio gets Frost Slayer. That's going to be your opening. First blood. Oh, Allegria. I mean, that comes from playing Hammond a lot. I'm sure he just felt like he had more tankiness in him, and he didn't. That's a weird take from Gaz. Didn't take the high ground, jumped off, and probably should have died there.
Did die.
Frost Slayer in that back line now. Reaper fighting for it, and now Cookies is alone in the back line. Teammates trying to help him as his team pushes in to save his life. Sergio dies on the cause, but did get Katiro in the process. Down goes Cookies. Grapplified is absolutely cooking right now. Leave this man in the kitchen. He's got so much hell or so much damage output now as he gets Royal Regalia again. Regalia again.
I mean, wow, big right click out there from the from Grapplified here to finish off that kill. And wow, stay alive, 80 health. I mean, you could fall in 1 second with that.
I just realized his name is Grapplified, not Grapplified.
Yeah, Grapplified.
Huh.
Yeah.
You're always learning new things here at the IHSEA Discord. Oh my gosh, Twitch stream.
Map 5.
Map
Learn
5.
new things.
You all learn new things. Royal Regalia. Gonna have to evacuate out of that. He's got 200 less health than when he was playing Hammond, but it is definitely working. That defense definitely locked in towards the end. Rolling Meadows is gonna be doing everything they can. Kitsune comes out. It's gonna be big. Grapplified pushing to the edge. This is it. On the other end, Sergio gets Gaz. Royspring gets Panda. Going the way of the Patriot. Trying to fight it through. Frost Slayer's ult almost gets 3, but he can't stay alive long enough. The orb in the unfortunate spot's gonna get him, and Rayspring is very thankful they put that down for entirely different reasons. Gaplified gets Sergio, Regalia gets Katiro, and Cookies finishes off with Gaplified.
Wow. I mean, that was a great showing there. But, you know, an unfortunate Reaper ult if you're Frost Slayer, but you know what? We're gonna see.
I
now,
think they win that
point
game.
2.
Or I don't think they win that game. I think they hold that push.
Yeah.
If he has a second more. I mean, that's just an unfortunate orb placement that he threw before he knew the ult was coming.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's the kind of stuff. It's every second, every millisecond matters here, and we're 4-on-4 on ults. These teams are at each other's necks. Anybody could win. Anybody could make 4 stops in a row. Anybody could go on and not get stopped once more. Regalia fighting in that back end. Gaplified trying to get more damage out. Here it is though. We've got a Cassidy ult. I tried my best not to say the other one. As Panda goes down, he gets Cookies. This team fight is going to go the way of the Mustang.
Wow, and Gaz finds that pick onto Royal Regalia as the Kiriko's trying to keep him up, but yeah, that's a little tough if you're getting staggered like that. And wow, we're seeing a strong hold. I mean, the door is still open, cart wide inside, and not a lot of progress coming out here. Hopefully, you know, George Washington can make something happen.
They need to use their ults right now, and Moira says right now. That was not maybe the right now they needed, but definitely what they need to do at this point is in the back line. Zarya doesn't see it. So many teammates are dead. They're going to try and heal their teammates. Moira not even going for the Zarya just behind her trying to heal her teammates. That is really funny as Rayspring goes down. Frostlayer got the headshot on her. He's got another one. Both healers, I believe, are dead, and one of them is escaping Spawn, and one of them will be about to die. But Spawn is right there now for them, which is super interesting because that is really, really hard for Rolling Meadows to hold, more so than normal.
Yeah, and they're doing a great job at it. I mean, they just burned a whole minute off the clock. So anytime they can get here, I mean, this is a great close hold. I mean, you close hold at the spawn doors, and you close hold, you know, once they've capped 1 point.
Cookies is going to go get some better position. They are about to do their standard random ambush that you did not see coming, and Doomfist is still in your backlines, but Doomfist might go before the team fight starts. I don't even know why are they here. On the other end, Gunji now gonna fight for it. Goes down instantly. Gaplified gets it. Rayspring though does get gas in the chaos. Frostlayer gonna ult and get one. Panda gonna get Royal Regalia during the chaos. Panda up top still low there, did not go. I thought they were gonna die. That's why I said their name. Rayspring trying to run away, and it's just bad. It's real bad. There's no seed 1 tonight. This is this 2 seed versus the 6 seed. The Patriots do have to lock in, like Cold Killer said. 3 kills in a row from that George Washington side. Is they lost the team fight and then just kept it going from staggering and just, won the team fight, which is not something you see every day.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was going to say, wow, the Baptiste is kind of running it in. That's a huge stagger, but then I realized that they are on the attack, and that was a unfortunate stagger from Frostlayer, as he just did again.
Ooh, Sergio, that's a really good pick. That's going to be crucial now because you're going to be without DPS for just a little bit longer, and every second is going to count. And I have a feeling we're going to be seeing some overtime heroics here, whether it's from the Rolling Meadows side or the George Washington time. We've got about a minute left. They're fighting on the other end. Gaz almost goes. Meteor Strike coming in. He's going to try and find somebody. Decides, I'm going to go for the Moira. Doesn't kill the Moira. Does hit the thing. Here comes Alt. He's going for it. He's stuck behind the pole. It's Scooby-Doo on the other end. He's trying to find it. Can't get it through. 3 go down for the Rolling Meadows side. 4 go down. And in a matter of seconds, George Washington's going to get this point.
And this Reaper's going to get staggered once again. Not a great look if you're a Frostlayer right here. Oh, able to get out to the support of his team. Hopefully they can all make it out of spawn.
It's 2 minutes
Wow.
left in this. This is all we've got. This is all the time we've got unless we hit the overtime. I think an ad just hit the chat. That is really sad. Unfortunately, that is a Twitch ad. We literally cannot start an ad. On the other end, Cookie's trying to avoid it. How did Cookies live? Sergio comes in the rescue. Oh my goodness, on the other end. Alt now from Cookies up top. That's going to be big. He's up top. They can't really do much about him with nobody with vertical ability. Cookies, Regalia, and Sergio all get one. Here we go. Last, final push. There's going to be a stagger. How did he teleport there? He was in it. Either way, Frostlayer coming down now. Punch goes out. He's going to go down. No, he won't. He's going to have Phantom form. He's got to contest right now. Trying to live. Is Moira's going to help him? Moira bounces off the wall. She's dead. Sergio, 2, contested now. The final moments. Here comes the Death Blossom. And the ult, the save from the Baptiste just kept them in this game. Another Genji ult coming out. Gaplified gets 2. Regalia gets 2. It's going to come down to the final 3 players on the other end. Gaz, Regalia gets it. It's 1 more. It's all up to Gaz to save this game, and he stays alive. But is this going to be it? George Washington wins the 1A IHSEA state final. Oh my goodness.
Wow. That was one of the best fights you could have seen coming into this final. I mean, I seriously had no idea who was going to win there. It literally could have been anyone's game at that last moment. And we hear the screams coming from outside. We know that George Washington is extremely happy about that one.
I mean, that is the most insane finish I have ever seen in an esports match.
Wow.
In the IHSEA level. I mean, that.
Yes.
Oh.
That was even more heroic than the 2A. I mean, wow. That was really something to watch.
I mean, that was hero ball.
Mm-hmm.
Sergio right at the end.
Mm-hmm.
It's obviously been clutch all night.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, that's. It's still loud in there.
It is still loud. And I mean, yeah. Great win from George Washington. I mean, they fought so hard. 2 series now, back-to-back. Both the semis and the finals were taken to map 5.
Yeah, I mean, that's big. I mean, that shows you that the competition at that level is extremely good. And it's not easy to win.
Mm-hmm.
And for George Washington to come all the way back, or from Rolling Meadows to come all the way back to that situation needs an analysis too.
Yeah.
They came from at the final round.
You're good.
The final round, trying their best to just try and figure this out, try and find their way into the final end here, and they couldn't, and they just couldn't break the barrier, and they finally did. They got through at Antarctica. They dominated the next map.
Yes.
And then this was the most insane game I have ever seen.
Mm-hmm. Wow. So we're going to jump to, I believe, a short break, because I almost guarantee you we're going to get some interviews in here.
I think we're going to do interviews or trophies. Either way, you need to stay tuned in. We've got still some more to go tonight.
Yes, absolutely. So we'll be on a quick break, probably about a minute or so. Well, we're going to go find out what's going to happen. But we will be back, whether we have interviews for you or trophy presentations. I don't know how that's going to work.
We're
But
probably going to have 6 people in here, each
Ooh.
recipients for the trophy. So
right.
hopefully they can figure it out. Maybe we should move this back. But
we'll be back.
thank you very much for tuning in tonight. This has been an absolutely enormous game. I'm still watching chat go through the emotional roller coaster. We'll be back very shortly.
Yes.
Thank you so much for tuning in.
Yes.
And we
Don't
will see
go
you
anywhere.
momentarily.
Don't go anywhere.
Welcome back. We have the captain of the Crown State Championship, George Washington Patriots, right?
Yep.
We were trying to figure that out throughout the whole game. Do they have a logo, or rather a mascot? But you guys do have a mascot.
Yeah,
we
we
with
do.
the Captain Cookies. Tell me about how that one felt.
I mean, we came in with the expectations of, just making it to LAN. Everybody was joking around like, oh, they're going to make it to LAN, blah, blah. But we never really felt like we were ever going to make it this far. Like this is just amazing. This is like a really big experience for all of us. We went from being a team that like we struggled to even play with each other and had lots of problems. There was problems across the board with our team, right? Positioning was terrible. Nobody was saying anything. There was no comms. There was no comms. And now here we are.
I mean,
champs, finals.
We kept calling it. It's worth looking back for you. We were calling it tomfoolery that was happening. You guys ball staggered all game, and that was incredible. I've never seen a team put that up for so long and win with that, and then you just switched to Doom and then like locked in.
Yeah.
And we were talking about how good your aim was actually on stream. So, what goes into that? This is your first state championship in any program in a school, right? So
correct.
I remember you had that Valorant one that was pretty close a few years ago, or last year rather.
Yeah.
I can't even begin to feel like excited for you. It's so impactful. How do you feel about this? And like, what are you gonna do tonight? Like, I don't know, how are you gonna celebrate the win?
I mean, we're gonna see what's on the menu. We're gonna see what's going on. It's definitely something that's so major for us. Like first to have our first win, just like we in Overwatch, we've never really gotten close. Like this is the first year that I was like, you know what? This is my senior year. I'm gonna step in. I'm like gonna do one-on-one coaching with everybody. We're gonna work really hard, and we're gonna make it to LAN.
And I think that's definitely the commitment that you guys needed, because obviously you just won the state championship. First off, that's amazing. And I think it's definitely with that divisions thing, is you guys now had a chance that you didn't before, because you were playing where you guys belonged with smaller schools in the sense of you don't deserve to go up against Naperville North. That is not as fair because they've got double the kids to pull from in school. And
Yeah.
you guys absolutely took advantage of that and have been dominant all year.
Yep.
2 seed. Congratulations, Cookies.
Thank you. Thank
enjoy the
you.
state championship. If you're looking for any esports players, Cookies is a senior. I don't know if you're committed, but reach out.
All right,
Thank you very much. Have a good one.